Yep, we're live.
What's up? Hell yeah. Oh, what was that? Is that me
Yeah,
feedbacking?
yeah, you're good. We're good. I was just fucking around with the live. So, what's up, everybody?
What's up, guys? What's going on? Yeah, busy day this week, Chris.
Yeah,
Back and forth, man. I think uh, we've been we've been working hard, guys, at trying to make this page good. Try to make it as best we can. We're still working through some ups and downs. I'm trying to figure out um, how we can kind of make it better. So I think we've improved a little bit, but we still would like to have some of your guys' input, man. So don't be afraid when you guys come on. Just shoot us the comments. We are pretty thick-skinned guys, and the only way that we can get better at this is with your guys' help, because you guys are the ones we do this for you guys. So like having your comments and your recommendations helps us out. So I think we took some of those the last couple of weeks and improved some of our thumbnails and working through some things, and so it's been great. What do you think, Chris?
no, I think the feedback has been extremely helpful from everybody. Please continue to hit that like and subscribe. Okay, that really helps us out, especially as we start moving towards getting some sponsors. That's right, guys. So if you've seen it on X and Facebook, unofficially we've got our first sponsor with Chosen Flags, an old buddy from episode 12, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Yep.
ski. So
Yeah.
Scott Stanoski up in good old Watertown, New York. So if you need your flag, you need a flagpole. He does custom flags, and we're actually looking at maybe doing something where we give away something once a month from ski up there. So please check it out. Again, that's Chosen Flags. I believe it's chosenflags.com. So
Yeah. Yeah. You know what, man? Like looking back on episode 12, that seems like it was yet like 2 years ago.
I know, right? I mean, it really does. It seems like it was so fucking long ago.
Yeah. I like it just, you go back on it, thinking about it, because I think what we're gonna run through like a quick run through on this stuff and talk about these episodes. But man, it just seems when I look at it and it's like, oh, a month or 3 weeks ago, it's like, gee, even with Desiree's, I'm like, man, like
Yeah.
that it's a while, it was a little ways back, but it seems like yesterday. So I don't know, man. So are you seeing if we're live on anything, Chris? Do you
Yeah,
see that?
we're
All
we're
right, cool.
definitely live on X. I got us over there.
Yeah.
I think we're live on YouTube. We'll double check.
Yeah, yeah. Check on YouTube, 'cause I'm trying to figure. I don't think it's. I'm still, dude.
Oh
I
yeah,
should have been. I should have been a S6 or something.
we're live on both, brother.
Hell yeah! Hey, yeah, man. Because I think the best part about this whole podcast thing, man, is like when when we're in the comments and people are like, "Hey guys, you're doing really good," and it's a good feeling, man, to know that like you and me thought about this a couple months back, and we're like, what, should we step foot into the podcast world? And it's like, I don't know, dude, whatever. We put ourselves out there for that first like little run, and it's ended up being pretty good. I mean, we're not where we want to be yet, but it's awesome, and I really enjoy this, because even the people, and I did a poll on one of my social media sites the other day, and they're like, "Oh, I just want to see, how everybody said it was good," and then there was like, "Oh, it was all right," kind of two votes for all right, and that's fine. That's fine. I get that's cool. Like it is what it is. We're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, man, but like it's good. I think building the connections with everybody, and still doing this stuff's pretty awesome, dude. This
Yeah,
is
no,
this is a pretty
it's
cool hobby. Not gonna lie to you.
nah.
So
Again, so I know. I think you and I talked about it probably on our first episode, and we mentioned it before. This is not something I ever even Like, why would I have thought of doing a YouTube or a podcast? Right? I mean, come on.
Dude,
But
like, I don't know.
but here we are, and it's been fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
The I love all the comments that we're seeing come through on all the different socials and all the different platforms, and I hope they continue. I really do, because that helps us get better, and
Hmm.
it helps us to understand. Are we going in the right direction? And I would say that yeah, based off of the comments, Jerry, we are going in the right direction. Um, we're continuing to stay true to our brand, and that is veteran stories unfiltered. Talking a little bit about leadership, talking about some transition, hitting some battlefield discussions. And I know we've got some more coming up here that we've already teased on some of the socials, but I'm actually really looking forward to the Task Force Falcon discussion to see how that one goes.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's awesome. I can't explain. Like every like it's for me to tell the convention the guys we're not we're like we don't have a fancy studio. We don't have all these fancy cars. We don't have these fancy editing piece, but just for you guys to like still support us, man, and like take some time in your day to kind of like listen or watch our episodes, man. It's pretty awesome, dude, because there's a lot better podcasts out there that have a lot more money and they can do a lot more things. And but we enjoy it, and this is who we are. And like you said, if this is what we do, we like it. We're not. First of all, I can't make my garage into a studio because I got a day job. But for us to like tell, the conventional story of all these conventional guys and their side, and bring some. We've had some really good SF guys on too, and they've been awesome, very humble in who they are, and but they were all conventional as well. To be able to tell those stories and keep those stories alive, and in today's social media space, it's kind of saturated with other things besides a conventional story. So being able to tell that and getting this out to everybody, it means a lot to me and Chris. So going back to like I think it was episode 12, Chris. What do you think on the battlefield discussion? Since
Yes,
that's your realm there, man.
yeah. So that one was moving for me.
Yeah.
Um, First and foremost, I thought you and I did an extremely good job of not getting overwhelmed by having our first celebrity on the show in Ricky Schroeder, and I can't thank him enough for coming on to the show. Um, but to be able to have somebody of his stature, and then to have Frankie Gay come on, a Gold Star parent, and then two former soldiers that were actually in Wanat, it was amazing. And I'll tell you, Jerry and I have talked about this before. I'm actively working with Frankie right now to try to get the Apache helicopter pilots to come on, so we can continue kind of the battlefield discussion framework that we talked about, and go a little bit more in depth with what they saw coming in and how they supported the 173rd. Um, but thinking back on it, man, what did you think about McKeag and being up there at OP1, and the fact that, like, for the majority of that firefight, I mean, he's literally just up there, my word, spraying and praying, right? That's how intense it was. He couldn't even pick his head up out of the bunker there to try to see where he was shooting. What were you thinking when he was telling us that, Jerry?
And I was just like, thinking, talking about. I don't think a lot of people dug into that story, man. Like it's like I think we were. I don't. There might be other people out there. Like I know there's other documentaries and stuff, but like that kind of thorough walkthrough and talk about like what those young guys did, like from the two different, like the vehicle, what they call it, the vehicle, uh, or
Patrol base.
yeah, the vehicle patrol base.
Yeah.
How different the vehicle patrol base was versus the OP, and the OP's fight. You couldn't stick your head up above the sandbags. Sandbags weren't stopping
No,
anything.
just getting
It,
chewed
it
up.
was it was just constant.
Yeah,
Like there was no pause in the gunfire. It was just constant RPGs, grenades, claymores, like all those stuff for those young kids to sit there and fight through that
yeah,
against unknown number of Taliban, an enemy that was trying to overrun their position. It was pretty planned out too. It wasn't like a hasty attack that they
yeah,
did. This is something that they were planning for a while. But to have those young paratroopers, yes, they took a lot of hits, man. And obviously, the 9 KIA, but that position didn't fall. So like that to
no,
me, that was the biggest thing. They didn't lose that position, right? Listening to Eric's, the one clip about him, I think it was Pitts, right? Pitts is the Medal of Honor winner, but
yeah,
the radio call like, "Hey man, I'm like, I can't, I'm, they're all around me. I can hear the voices, right?" And he's like,
yeah,
"I'm concealed. And I don't know how much longer that I'm going to be able to stay hidden." So, like that right there is just incredible, and for those guys to also maneuver through enemy fire to get to their battle buddies and their fellow paratroopers that were in some really dire need to move through some of that, obviously the LT, and
yeah,
you know they went through some, they probably went to the worst route to
yeah.
get there, but
Yeah, they
for
did.
for their determination and their willingness to put themselves in harm's way to get to that position. And he was saying, "Hey, I only heard DLT. I probably heard him a couple times. I never really saw her, but then I never heard him again." So
Yeah,
for them to do that and push up there to kind of support those guys under intense enemy fire, to me was just, it got to my heart a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that's just who those guys were, man. And you got to understand too, like that deployment, they went through many why nots that deployment. It
yeah,
wasn't just the one why not. They went through OP Ranch House. What was it, Bella?
yep.
OP, was it OP Bella?
You had
They,
Ranch House, you had Uranus, and then you had Wanat, and that was all just Charlie Company, Chosen,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's not even looking a little further south where Battle Company was in the Korengal, which hopefully that's another one Jerry and I are talking about trying to get together to talk a little bit more about where Sal Junta um, ended up being um, had the Medal of Honor bestowed upon him for recovering a fallen soldier that was being dragged off by the Taliban. So yeah, I mean it that is. And, oh, by the way, not even a full company. One of their platoons was attached to me a little bit further south. So really, it's like two platoons, three major battles. You got Distinguished Service Cross, you got Medal of Honor recipient, Silver Stars, um, and for the casual listener out there, like that's not a good thing, right? I mean that's what gets kind of lost sometimes, Jerry, when you and I are discussing these things. And between you and me, it's not. But when the casual listener hears that, like, oh my God, that's so cool. Medal of Honor recipient, Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star. Nah, brother, that means something terribly wrong has happened.
yeah. I like the. I know I got the younger, like Call of Duty's a thing, right? Like Call of Duty's cool, man. Like I get shot and I respawn, but when you're hearing those guys tell it, like when we first started the episode, we had a discussion with those guys about what rating were we going to put on the show, like
Yeah.
how in depth do we want to talk about this,
Mm-hmm.
and what that means is like, hey, how in depth do we want to talk about
Yeah.
the casualties, like their extent of their injuries, because it was, I'll tell you, man, it was brutal. It's something that I don't think anybody that's ever experienced this type of combat, that at that intensity, this was 8 hours. You would think
Yeah.
it was only 8 hours though, right? It's a long 8 hours, but the intense amount of fire and stuff, like they had to endure, and the brutality of what they saw. And I think
Yeah.
he put it good too. He was like, "Hey man, like you go on social media and you'll see these combat videos, and that they have their guys are posting about, oh, like you see them standing up and engaging, and they're just standing around, or they're shoot." He's like, "That's that's not intense combat. Like intense combat is
Yeah.
I couldn't lift my head over the sandbags.
Yeah, that was
Like
yeah, for everybody, that was McKegg's comment. Yeah.
yeah, so that's like it's just a perspective, and then just again the brutality of what those guys had to see and do, and especially at the tail end of that of getting their buddies off the battlefield, and then and then staying there, like having to occupy the OP again for a couple more days,
Oh God. Right?
knowing that your boys were just killed in that
Yeah.
same position. So to me, it's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no. The one that probably got me the most was the combination of Israel Garcia, right? In the fact that as as he's dying and he's got the hot mic, right? Um, for all his buddies that are there listening to that and knowing like the wounds are such that I can't even lie to this guy and say, hey, you're gonna make it, you're gonna be okay, right? That is what probably got me the most, um, and to have to deal with that. And oh, by the way, for everybody that's listening, I have gone back. I've had conversations after all of this with McKeag and with Ski. They're doing good. They're you know they're it was tough on them to tell the story, but they've told the story and they're doing well. Um, but in that moment, like you can't. How do you explain that? I am actually at a lack of words. I don't know how to
yeah,
explain it.
yeah. I don't know. It's as a leader, if you're a leader in any kind of combat MOS or not a combat MOS now, because I think there were some guys there that were, I mean, the support or whatever, but dude, why not is a good case study. So it's like something like if you ever had if you're sitting there, with your fire team or something and you want to do some sergeant time training or whatever, it's good to pull that up and, just, talk about it, because there's a lot of there's a lot of lessons learned coming out of that thing, man. So I mean, you can nitpick it or you can do whatever you want, but there's some really good positives that you can learn as a leader out of that, and then yeah, there's some negatives that you can kind of look at too. But why not is something that definitely we need to keep talking about in some leadership courses, and maybe even some young officer courses. I know they talked about a little bit at West Point about it, but talk about it, man. Like it's you know it's a really cool thing. It's not cool, but it's really something interesting to kind of get conversations going on the tactical world. But yeah, it was good. I mean, it was kind of overwhelming a little bit. We had a lot of people on there
Yeah.
um, trying to talk through this thing, and Frankie Gay was, you know, I'll let you do the intro for who he was, Chris, if you want to.
Yeah, no. So Frankie was Pruitt Rainey's father. Yes, Pruitt Rainey's father. Um, he was Christopher McKegg's team leader up at OP1, and so after I believe it was episode 7 when we talked to Eric Phillips, who was definitely one of the participants in the Battle of Wanat and in Ranch House. He reached out based off of that episode and said, "Hey, would really like to see if we could get on your podcast and maybe have Ricky Schroeder come on, and we'll see if we can't get a couple other people on there." And so Frankie lives down in Georgia, does great things still with a lot of the 173rd guys. One of those people that at the drop of a hat, he's going to show up at your doorstep if you need something, right? Just absolutely salt of the earth and is willing to bend over backwards for anybody. And so, yeah, great person and continued, friend of the show. And I'm sure we'll have him back on here again at some point, potentially with the pilots. We'll see, because I know he's talked to them in person a couple times, and thanked them for everything that they did for the company while they were going through that.
The cool thing about that though is like his bond. He still got with those guys. Like
Yeah,
it's still. he still keeps in touch with every one of those guys, and the dedication he has to those crew of dudes, and they kind of like, I guess they're all like family at this point now. Like they're really close, and everybody's been, obviously when every year the anniversary comes around, I'm sure they all, reach out. Everybody's got other jobs and stuff now, but those guys, went through some struggles, man, and and it's crazy too to think that that wasn't for some of those guys, that wasn't their last time deploying. So they deployed again and went back to the same
Yeah.
spot
Yeah.
areas
Yeah.
again, right?
Yeah.
So
Literally, McKeag and Ski went back with me to Kunar all over again less than a year later.
yeah, it's insane. It's an incredible story. It's a cool to hear the young guys' perspective.
Yeah.
Just these guys are just the young cats, the mortarmen, the riflemen, guys that sitting there that are in the fight, and they're telling their perspective of what they saw. They didn't go higher because they don't know. They know that we're the position that they were in. But it was good hearing that from those guys because, like I said, those are the stories that we want to tell, and um, just seeing what they had to put up with, and it's insane, man. Like especially when Eric was talking about the first initial engagement, they took a casualty, every he moved into the like the bunker or whatever I think it was, and then the Delta truck cooking off with the 3 TOW missiles in it,
Oh my God.
and
Yeah.
Lee got the last guy out right when it blew up, and then the tow missile shot up in the air and landed right between them, and then Eric. If you want to hear a real good one, go back to
Yeah.
episode 7 too,
Yeah.
guys. Check it out. But he picked up the tow missile and ran with it and threw it out under fire, threw it out into the field. So that's insane, dude. So it's
What
something
about
that
the I think it was between Phillips and Ski when the RPG round landed and
right,
didn't
yeah,
go
went right
off?
between them. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it went into the AS because there. So the Taliban, I guess they need to knock out like the key positions. Obviously, it's not if you're a tactical guy or whatever. You're about to it's you have to take out the heavy machine gun, heavy weapons and stuff like that. That's the number one target. But even at OP Ranch House, Eric will tell you the same that they targeted um, the mortar position first too. But
Yep.
the thing about it was those guys kept like it was the ASP too, so they kept all their ammo, 5.56, the grenades, everything in there, to include the mortar rounds inside those mortar pits. So when that RPG came around, it impaled itself into a spot that could have been like if it would have went off, it probably would have
Yeah.
smoked the whole vehicle patrol base and killed
Yep.
everybody there. So for them to do that it's tell that story. I was like, damn, bro, that's like definitely earned your CIB at that point, man.
No
Holy
shit.
shit.
Holy cow.
But yeah, dude, it's
Wow.
it's insane, man. It's something that like I really like the portion of the battlefield discussions, and we're gonna call that series, guys, battlefield discussions. So there's
Yep.
more coming, but I like those. I like talking and listening to your guys' stories. So if there's any other you know operations or small unit engagements or battles out
Yep.
there that you guys want to kind of like us talk about, drop it in the message, man, and let us know. Like, hey, what's next? We've been talking about Fallujah, we've been talking about Marja, Mosul, 2005. There's striker unit up there.
Hot
Whatever.
seating.
You know,
Yeah.
we love to get some guys on here that's part of Blackhearts, right? So the book
Yeah.
Blackhearts. So that'd be an interesting one to talk about.
Yeah.
So
It would.
um, we're all up to it, man. And if you guys have a story that want to be told, then shoot us a message, dude. Because I enjoyed it. It was a little depressing. It was a little
Yeah.
depressing.
Yeah.
But especially being a guy that was, and I'm an 82nd guy, Chris 173rd did. I have a lot of buddies that were there. I just was not part of that. But just listen to it is kind of, and trying to inject was kind of hard. But um, all I can do is I can relate because I'm an infantry
Yeah.
guy, so I kind of knew what they were doing on the ground. So it's crazy. But
But
yeah,
even
that was a great episode.
it was. But even if you don't have, um, even if you're not part of the Battle of Fallujah or you're not part of Wanat, odds are you've probably got a story and it's worth telling. So let us know. Okay. Jump in there, DM us on all our socials, Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever. let us know, and we'll reach out to you and see when we can get you on. We'd love to hear your story. Um,
Yeah, we also, not just all combat focused, you guys, but
yeah,
if you're an entrepreneur, that you're a veteran that's running a business, if you have something that, it's out there that's benefiting, veterans or something, and you want to talk about it, just shoot us a note,
yeah,
man. We'll get you on, and hey, we'll let you talk about, how you're supporting the veteran community and how you kind of got there, and it's good news stories for those guys who are getting ready to transition and want to get into that part and develop their own. They want to work for themselves, right? So yeah, I'd love to hear it, and we can
yeah.
we can get you guys on and talk about it, man. So it's great.
For at Patriot Code, I appreciate the comment. Shal K with Command Sergeant Major Levy, or I guess now retired Command Sergeant Major Chris Up. Yeah, no, I've talked to Big Ups. He and I are buddies. I definitely plan on getting him on here for Jerry. So Big Ups. He is mentioned a couple times in Eric's episode. You probably don't remember him, but so when Eric was coming into the 173rd, right, and he was coming from the 82nd, and he had the buddy in Chosen Company, and he's like, "No, I want to go to Chosen Company." Well, he's the one that basically took up spot and went over to I guess it was first platoon at the time where Big Ups was supposed to go, and Big Ups ends up going to third platoon, i.e., with me over at Destin Company, um, which good for me. I love Big Ups, and I look. I'll claim it. I'm the one that came up with Big Ups because he is a big dude. He is the only man, Jerry, that I have ever seen single handedly, two at a time, 120 rounds, just fucking slinging them like that.
That's baller, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
just I mean, it was crazy to see
Yeah.
him just manhandle those rounds like that. But yeah, at Patriot Code, we are definitely working to try to get Big Ups on here at some point. Retired out of the 101st, Jerry, where he did his battalion CSM time. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's
Dude,
good.
going back, dude, I'm telling you, man, like the conventional side, dude, has some incredible stories that need
Right?
to be told.
Yes.
Like, dude, there's some like it just drives it's I'm so happy to be part of to be able to tell this, man, because I don't know. The fight when you're in a fight, right? And the SF guys, man, and special forces guys and Rangers guys are all awesome, and I love them all, man. They're great dudes. But sitting as a conventional dude and getting past the politics of why you were there, all that kind of shit. Got it, whatever. But living on top of a mountaintop, you know, washing your fucking uniform in buckets and taking shit in bags and fighting, um, for 15 to 18 months, doing that shit without limited air support. You're not priority for that, right?
Yep.
Or you don't have the instant kill that you want from the AC-130 gunship, right? You don't have that. Your medevac, support's probably 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
You gotta like share water bottles like they did at Why Not because they didn't have the water that they needed.
Yeah.
To go out and patrol every day, sometimes twice a day in 140 fucking degree heat and doing that all the time. Like you got holes in your crotch. You don't have extra uniform. Like it just, dude, it's just insane, right? Like it's the
Losing your
conventional.
boots in fucking 10 feet of mud
Yeah,
or whatever the hell it was.
but yeah, we'll get into that later. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I am just so proud of the community, man, and just did the for what they did and what we've accomplished and what we went through. It's I'm so glad we're telling the stories now, man. So
Yeah.
um, hopefully, again, I'm not degrading anybody. I love the SF guys and stuff. And I think you guys are amazing, and we're gonna tell your story too, man. We will. And I'm just proud because I'm a conventional guy.
Yeah.
That's the only stories I got, dude. So
I'm with you. And I echo Jerry's comments, right? I- we want to prioritize, not belittle or bemoan, but we want to prioritize your story, the common soldier story. But that said, like Jerry's got some buddies that are former special forces. I've got some buddies that are still special forces that I really want to get on here because they're friends of mine, and I think they have a good story. But at the end of the day, we really want to highlight what the common soldier has done and continues to do because of a what is this the saying, like 10% of the world or 1% of the U.S. serves? Is that right, Jerry? 1%?
Yeah, okay, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
so of that 1%, the common soldier makes up 99% of that 1%. Yet our voice, your voice, tends to get lost sometimes because yeah, you weren't out there on the op that killed Bin Laden, or you weren't on you name your secret squirrel op. But it doesn't mean you don't have a story to tell. It doesn't mean you don't have something good to hear and say. And we want to give you that voice. We want to give you that opportunity to come out and say that. And oh, by the way, have some fun saying it, and maybe learn something. Right? I
yeah,
mean, why
it's
not?
all about winning. We're all about winning
Yeah,
here. All about
exactly.
learning and winning, man. Like it's
Yeah,
just to tell your story, man. There's somebody out there like it's gonna take it and really it's gonna mean a lot and it's important. I mean, so I don't know. It's awesome. It's a cool thing to do. Obviously, combat. Like I said earlier, combat's combat. We want other. If you're a veteran, just if you have a good story, come on, we'll tell you, man. So we'll
yeah,
get you on. So, like I said, I had a buddy on here a couple episodes ago. Jerry Power is a fire chief from
yeah,
Boston Fire, right? And great story. Transition from a Marine to being a fire captain or
yeah,
chief, or I think he's a I think he's a captain at one firehouse. But going back to the SF world too, man. Like we've had some great one. Eric Phillips is a Green Beret,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Uh, Ryan Henderson, author of Tip of the Spear, which is
Yeah,
one of my funnest episodes in
yeah,
regards to leadership talk. Like he had some really really good input,
he did.
and obviously Chris he's our friend for life. He's an amazing dude that does some really amazing things in Ukraine right now with his
Yeah.
his his organization,
Tip of the
D Mine.
spear, landmine removal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but dude, I tell you, he was the most humble. He's the most humble Green Beret I think I've ever met. Like he just he knows that where he came from. Obviously he's been in 45 different services. That's a joke, but I think he's been in every one of the services out there as a young enlisted
yeah,
guy. So he kind of grew up through all that. But really really great. We'll have him on again, man. And
yeah.
but he was awesome. So we're
I,
getting there, and it's good, and I appreciate it. But you guys we couldn't do this shit without you all,
yeah.
to get where we're at, and we're not there yet, man. We understand. We're not. We're like the B movie. There's a lot of A movies out there, but we're like the B movie now. But we're
Yeah.
getting there, and we're just a bunch of guys that found a hobby and have to do something. And I'm a retired sergeant major, which it doesn't fucking matter. He's a retired colonel now, as a couple months ago,
Okay.
and that shit doesn't fucking matter, right? But um, we're just a bunch of dudes that transitioning and transitioned out, and had to find something to do with our hands, and
Yeah.
that's the hardest part about getting out of the military and hanging a uniform up is trying to find a hobby. So, I've done everything from playing hockey to got on shooting guns and doing stuff, and now I'm trying to do podcasts is something I'm happy with, and that's
I
all
cut
important for
I
y'all.
cut a lot of grass. A
Yeah,
lot of grass.
yeah,
Hey, speaking of being witty though, one of my favorite episodes that we've done was Tony Mayne. And talk about somebody that can tell a story and tell it well.
yeah.
I
He's a good speaker, man.
he is. He is. I
Yeah,
aspire to reach his level of being able to tell a good story.
yeah.
Golly.
So for everybody out there, Tony Mayne, well, he was my company commander. Was a 82nd. I was a B company, second 325, and then I went with him. I followed him over to HSE second 325 as a command team together. But Ranger Hall of Fame, Ranger Regiment guy,
Yep.
long time. I think he'd been at most of his career. Ranger Regiment guy. Now he's he runs the Gallant Few
Yep.
and also works with three Rangers, which are
Hmm.
both transition assistance, organizations for young Rangers. So you have to be like coming out of Ranger Regiment or a Ranger
Ranger role type.
RI
Yeah.
to utilize those services, and they're great. They're great services. They do a
Yeah.
lot of really good things. And he's dedicated to his craft, man, and he is a very very good speaker, and he's a very good person, and he's got faith behind him, which is awesome, and it drives him. He's very very big into his faith, but he will do he will he would drop stop doing whatever he's doing to help you out, man. Especially if you're a ranger. If you come from ranger community, he's gonna do it, right? So
Yeah.
he's got a great story. So guys, come over and listen to it. And it talks everything from, we don't dig too much into combat there on his because we kind of want to get to, what he's doing and with his foundation. Like what are they're transition assistance
Yeah.
or
Transition assistance. Yeah.
yeah stuff.
It's
Wanted to
nonprofit.
get into that, man. But there's some funny stuff on there, and
Yeah.
it's some good stuff too. He's so if you're a ranger out there and you're in a ranger regiment, or if you're a ranger qualified, you're about to transition out of the army, you really need to look into Three Rangers or the Gallant View, right? And they will be able to hook you up with some resume assistance, help you try to find a job, help you try to some education stuff. So really, really good. I didn't know anything about it. I don't
Yeah.
know if you did. You know anything about? I didn't know anything
No,
about it. So
it's the first time I've heard about it, and so Tony Mayne at gallantfew.com. That's his email address. He puts it out on the show a few times. If you're a ranger qualified individual, you're looking for some sort of assistance and help as you transition from service to civilian life, please reach out to him. They have a tremendous track record with being able to help people, and this was one of those episodes, Jerry, where I actually learned a lot, right? And so coming out of that, Jerry's like, "Oh, Chris, you got to do something like that for the 173rd." Well, yes, it is
I
something.
still think you do because you got if there's an organization for the 173rd that helps do that. You guys are so small. You guys could do
Yeah,
you're a brigade, right? So like you guys could do some shit
yeah.
like that. You know.
So So that said, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there, Jerry. Anybody that's out there that wants to help me figure out how to do something like that, yeah, come on board. Let me know. Uh, but one of the issues we're always going to have, Jerry, is that we're physically separated time and space from where the 173rd is, right?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah, but I mean everybody doesn't stay there. They all come back to the States sometimes.
true,
So like everybody's back here,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's most of the veterans from 173rd. I mean, I'm sure there's some guys that are like, I'm staying in Italy forever, but
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean I probably would.
yeah.
But that was a great episode, man.
It
I
was.
enjoyed. I had I love all the episodes we did, man. And there's a couple that I really really enjoyed, and
Yeah,
I'll keep those to myself. But like just really is one of them because I just had a good relationship with Tony, and Tony's known me for a long time, and
yeah.
it's I don't know where to put my picture, but yeah, I had the picture, but I was going to show the picture, but yeah, it's that was a good one, man. It's you know it's good seeing that like our community right now, our veteran community, man. It's you look at some of the social media, man, and it's just like we're just killing each other, like ragging on each other, talking shit about each other. It's active duty talking shit about veterans. Veterans talk about active duty. Veterans talk about veterans. Blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
it's good to see a guy that's taking the time to help or help other veterans out, right? Even if that's transitioning, service members out of the army. So it's good to see legit good programs out there that are, one that's vetted and it's pretty good. It's got relationships, it's tied
Yes,
into the
yes, it
community,
does.
like they're tied into Ranger Regiment, so they know. Or even RIs or whatever, but they're tied into that, so they're legit, man. And something, if you fall in line there and you fall into that community, man, check it out, dude. I think he's at
Please,
Fort Benning,
please
right?
do. He
Is
is.
that Fort
He's
Benning? Yeah.
yeah. He's there in Columbus, Georgia, right outside. So
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good episode, man.
yeah, the
So Tony, good job, man. If you're
yeah,
listening to me out there, good job, brother. And we made sure your email gets put out. So
yeah.
yeah,
We'll
Rangers
keep
lead the
putting it
way.
out for you there.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of Keith's episode?
Dude, that was great. That was a
It
great
was.
one. Because Keith Benoit, guys, is we can sit here and talk for this one for a little bit, but he's an
Yeah,
Apache pilot. I really did
former
like
Kiowa pilot.
or Kiowa, yeah, it did. We're getting to that in a
I know.
second, but like there's been certain episodes where I'm just like, oh, we're gonna go into this, and I don't know really what to expect, even if I know the person. But like his story, guys, I think he's episode 14. He's our last one. It's up
Yeah,
on the top of our
14.
page on YouTube. But dude, like I've got this perception of aviators. I think everybody does, right? Like it's the Hawaiian t-shirt, It's at
Kind of
the
full of
it's at the
themselves.
yeah, it's the little like 5 foot pole that's like out hanging out on lawn chairs, like they're whatever kind of shit. But dude, Keith like his dude, he was a company commander on the ground
He
as
was.
an aviator.
Yeah, an
Like
infantry,
that's
a mechanized infantry company commander, or yeah,
yeah, like
mechanized
he's
infantry.
he's done everything. He's done everything. He's flown kite. Like for all you out there, GWAT, OG GWAT guys, man, you know about the Kiowas and how much that aircraft, meant a lot to us, meant a lot to me, and
Yeah,
those pilots that flew those fucking things were a lot of them were SF, a lot of Ranger, a lot of like, conventional infantry guys or whatever that went over there and got into the cockpit and ended up supporting us on the ground, right? Because they knew it, and man, they would. If you guys ever seen a Kiowa, dude, it's 10 feet off the ground, and it's
yeah,
you know guns on target, just looking to like. There's nothing fancy about it, but
yeah,
it's a badass piece. And I'm so sad, dude, when they said, "Hey, we're gonna get rid of that thing," because I was like, God dang it, right? Like
yeah.
to me, I think even today's fight, it's something that still needs to be around, but yeah, man, I missed that aircraft, and he talks about a little bit about it, especially the part where he was like flying and he was like 10 feet off the ground, and he did like the vehicle interdiction. He put his like M4 out the window, and they like stopped the vehicle, and he's like, he's never, traditionally there's a unit that does that for reals, like the SOAR guys, but he's like, yeah, I think we just did a vehicle interdiction, so. The guy stopped, but that's just that aircraft, man, and those pilots that did that, and he talks a lot about growing up flying the Kiowa and all that kind of stuff at NTC, doing that stuff. I'm sure some OCs out there he flew you around if you served with Keith, but dude, it's pretty cool, man. It was a good episode.
No, it really was. What resonated the most with me over and over and over again was the amount of people that continue to come back to him and either a wanting to help him out, so he's a good worker, or b asking for help from him or seeking help from him. So that tells me he's a good leader as well. And to hear his story, and again, man, two in a row, you nailed it with people that are really really good storytellers, right? Um, you learn so much from somebody like that. The fact that he did the flyover there at West Point with you, the completely
Yeah.
planned, pre-planned. I know it
Yeah.
was.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I was at a drill at West Point, right? So as for you guys to know, I was at a drill at West Point, and we were doing some drill. I saw the Apaches fly up the river because he was flying up to the Statue of Liberty. I saw him fly up in the morning, and like I think we were doing a ceremony, dude, and like our commandant, she was an aviator, and we were sitting there. I don't know who the guests were. He said it in the video. I can't remember. My memory sucks in these days, but all the cadets were out drilling. It was a ceremony. It was the whole corps, bro, and these Apaches come out of nowhere. I'm talking low level treetop, just buzz the whole ceremony, dude. I look over, the leadership's looking up, and they're just I can see they're just pissed. And the commandant, she's an aviator. She made some phone calls back to drum, and it's just like, to me, man, it was awesome. Like it was the cadets loved it. They loved it. That probably transit like some of those kids were like, I'm gonna be a pilot. Like I'm gonna be a pilot now. Like hey, this is the amazing. It was so cool. It was like a good motivation thing to happen. Yeah, it was probably the timing wasn't right, but it was still pretty badass, dude.
Yeah.
And
That
like he said, there was two lieutenant colonels in that in that helicopter. So it is what it is, man.
yeah.
But
So what was your perspective on the boots in mud? Where what so that's a big one, right? So you got Keith Callahan, a famous 82nd Sergeant First Class, unfortunately passed away there during that deployment. But you got the air assault where you all just absolutely balls deep in mud.
mhm. Yeah, it was part of. We were Task Force Falcon, and it was all we did like I think it was like 15, 18 months. We did all like air assault stuff, and we worked under like General McChrystal, and like Colonel Miller at the time. Colonel Miller now General Miller that retired.
Yeah.
special Delta guy, Afghanistan commander for a long time. I don't know how long he was there when we were there. He was there forever, years.
Like
So I don't
4
know.
years, 5 years. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's crazy.
But yeah, it was organization that our conventional battalion had a really awesome thing to kind of work under those guys, and we were getting ready to exfil on a mission set. I don't think watching going back and watching the pod, I really would like. He started to say a little bit about the lieutenant that was like running the LZ or something. And we kind of like
Yeah.
you kind of got away from it, but I wanted to hear like the reason why, man, because I think, we went out there, the birds landed, and guys, I'll tell you, man, it must have been up to my damn top of my knees in mud. It was mud. Like you could not move, like trying to beeline to the ramp, and guys were stuck in the mud, weapons were in the mud. Keith Callahan was my platoon sergeant, later killed in action, was trying to get us all on the fucking aircraft. And he was fucking like head to toe in mud. Like I crawled onto that ramp. I was exhausted. That's how much mud it was. I was just like, dude, this was like, we got on the bird. Like, who the fuck looked at the LZ? Like, it was a big air assault. It wasn't just a company one. I think it was like battalion
Yeah.
size or something. But it was like, dude, who checked it? Like, we were just mad mud. And then, he talks about when we got to Balad, because we'd fly to Balad a lot for like refuel and then fly back to Camp
Yeah.
Spiker. But we got there and Keith was just pissed, dude. Old Irish, he's an Irish kid, like prior boxer, and he was head to toe just mud. It's just so pissed off. And Keith talks about when we would go to the chow hall. Like there was a chow hall there at night. We were all covered in mud, and we were a little
Yeah.
dirty. Some were less than the others, obviously. But we would always go to this damn chow hall, man, and there would be some fucking sergeant major um, that was there, and he pulled Keith over. Was like, "You can't have those guys in here. They can't eat in here, chow. They can't do whatever. They're so dirty. They look." And he's like, "Hey, man, like, you can go talk to General Crystal or fucking Sergeant Major whoever, whatever, but they're gonna eat, right?" And it was just like that. And he goes, That's every time we went to that fucking chow hall, there was somebody yelling at us about what we were wearing." And to me, it gets me on like the perspectives of combat, man. There's
Yeah.
two different perspectives of
Sure.
combat. I don't care what anybody says. There's the ones that actually go out there and do shit, and then there's the ones that sat on the fob. And that Sergeant Major was one that sat on the fob because he just like worried about us, man, and what we looked like. How we didn't have anything. We just flew there for one night,
Yeah.
like, and then we'd jump on the birds and head home. But like it was. Keith was pissed. It was a cool story. I'm trying to tell like he tells it better in the episode, but yeah, that like but who he was we had guys that came off the LZ that had no boots because the mud
Yeah.
sucked off their boots. Right, there was like 6 of our young guys, and they landed, and Balad had no boots, man. Like, what were they gonna do? Like, we didn't have anything. That wasn't our home base, and
Yeah.
Keith, the guy he is, the leader he is, went out to the PX as a young captain and bought 6 pairs of boots for everybody.
Yeah.
So that just tells you, man. That's who Keith
Yeah.
is, man. He's an awesome leader. I hope he gets, he's at 30, man. I think he's at 33 years at this point, but
Yeah. I think you said 34.
34 years,
Yeah.
man. And he'd be a great brigade commander at some aviation brigade. Wherever he goes, he's going to be great, even if he transitions out. But
Yeah.
great story. Great
Yeah.
story, dude. And then getting into the Mosul, what do you think about the Mosul stuff?
Oh, yeah. So real quick, for anybody that's interested in the actual clip from Keith Benoit, it's out on YouTube on our Reels, our Shorts page. There, you can hear Keith tell the story about landing in the mud. There, it was entertaining. Um, yeah, Mosul, man. So I've got my own background with Mosul right there. I was there 04 to 05.
Yeah, me
So I
too.
got to, yeah, I know. So we share that, even though we didn't know each other at the time. We share that background together. Um, yeah, it was his. That was the one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where um, he was he helping you guys out and flying at the same time,
I think, yeah, I think
or was
so.
this when he right before he went to Syria?
This was right before we went to. This was the
Okay, yeah,
battle.
yeah,
This
yeah,
was the battle of Mosul.
yeah,
Like, the last when they had the
Yeah, so it was like
um,
16, 17, somewhere around there.
ISIS took it over or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they were
yeah.
like telling a story about shooting all the
Taking that,
ISIS
I know,
boats
like
and all the bulldozers and
bad day to own a bulldozer or a boat, but great day if you're selling either one of them, right?
yeah. Like so, I guess like as they flew, they were sporting the Iraqi forces,
Yeah,
obviously, and then a Second Brigade, 82nd Airborne Division was the headquarters there as they were trying to re-seize Baghdad or Mosul from ISIS, and talking about how they were shooting boats and shooting anything that looks like a V-bid, anything that looks like a boat or
yeah,
bulldozer, anything that the threat he would shoot.
yeah.
The Apaches would destroy it. So like he had free game on
Correct me if I'm
on
wrong.
anything.
That wasn't that his first deployment now as an Apache pilot?
Yeah, that was his first time
Yeah,
firing like shooting
yeah,
shooting off the rails, like
yeah,
hellfire off rails. Like
yeah,
he talks about how his first shot ever was to stop a V bid that would have blew up the second 82nd or the Iraqi army's headquarters building.
yeah,
And that's he got a distinguished service.
yeah.
There was a distinguished flying cross, or
Some sort of air medal. He didn't say
there was
what it
air
was,
medal
but
or something,
yeah,
or air medal. I might have got he might have been air medal or
yeah,
something that he got for that for stopping a V bid that was about to take out some leadership.
yeah.
I was talking to him about, hey man, is like when I asked him about, hey, do you guys go back and like watch gun camera footage with some fucking
You
near beer
you
and
knew they
fucking eat
would. You
popcorn?
knew they would. Oh yeah,
He's
because we
like, yeah,
would.
bro.
You and I
Yeah.
would too. Oh hell
Oh,
yeah.
dude, if I had like a like if I could all my engagements in my life and I had the ability to go back and watch. I mean, some I would be like, I don't know if I want to watch that again, but like I just picture those guys like all the pilots. They're on a flight. They do what they got to do. They engage targets and they like just go back and throw up some near beer, fucking do a cigar, and they're sitting around the whatever. I just imagine those guys doing. He's like, yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah,
That's what we did on the tail end of it. But one, it was cool, but like they talked about the warrant officers will beat them up like, hey, this is what you
yeah,
should do. You should approach it this way. You should have done it this way. So it was more of a learning thing. It was an enjoyable thing for them, but they got beat up a lot about how they, because if you look at all those gun camera footage over the years you've seen in GWAT, man, those guys take those back and they just get drilled. Like they get drilled
they do.
by the warrant officers that they are pretty much run the show. They're like the NCOs of enforcing flight standards. For the
Yeah,
warrant officers, and especially I think they got like one chief warrant officer that's like their senior pilot, like whatever. But they take some heat, man, and they take some criticism
they
for
do.
what they're doing. So
They do.
it's pretty crazy to hear him talk about that, man. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was a great one, dude. I like that. That was a good episode, man.
yeah.
And if you're ever thinking about going aviation, that's a good one to watch. Good one to
Did you ever think about going aviation?
too stupid to go aviation. I'd fuck that up. Yeah, I'll push the wrong button. I shoot a rocket off the rail. So I don't know. I'd be like, I'm a ground pounder by heart, man.
Yeah, I
I
never
would have loved to, man, but I just, I don't know. I enjoyed where I was at. I don't know.
looking back. I do, especially when we were knee deep in the story with Keith. I started thinking, man, that would be kind of fun. But it going through it and even truly looking back, I don't know that I would pick anything else. Like I never had the inclination to want to be a pilot, and it's not that I'm afraid of heights or anything like that. I'm not the biggest fan of heights, but I'll fall out of the sky with the best of them, right? Um, but to be a pilot, he made me want to be a pilot. Like he made me want to be a pilot with his story, and I can only imagine. You you fast forward now to we already kind of mentioned it there at West Point, as he's doing his flyover now as a squadron commander, and all those cadets down there at West Point looking up and seeing those that attack formation fly overhead, like holy shit, yeah, no, where do I sign? I'll fly. Let's do this. Yeah,
Mhm. I like talking to pilots, man, because Keith was prior enlisted. Most of them start prior enlisted, so they all have a really cool perspective on one what they did before as a young soldier or paratrooper. To switch into the cockpit or into aviation live, right? There's a bunch of guys. There's a guy named Tyler Williamson. I'd love to get on here. I talked to him a couple weeks back, but he was out of town. But he was the guy that we were talking to Haven. He was the one that flew in like would always harass me as a first star. Wake your first star. I would fly the cop or whatever, and land and bring the guys rippets or whatever. But
Okay.
those guys are just good dudes, man. And they're sort of it's
Yeah,
again, fire Kiowa pilots, but
yeah. So I got a buddy that I want to bring on eventually, and I've mentioned him to you, Jerry. His name is Kyle Kubal. Kyle is I think he's a captain on a fire department out in Arizona somewhere. Kyle was my physio when I was chosen six, right?
mhm.
Um, but the reason I bring him up now is so where we were in Cunard, we had a lot of Kiowas because the elevation they could support us, but they couldn't make it all the way up to where chosen company was the previous deployment. So we would get a lot of Kiowas that came over. And as my fire support officer, because I don't have an air officer as an infantry line company, he's the one that interacts a lot of times with the aircraft going overhead, right, and stuff like that. We're out on an op one day, and it's a big one. We've got probably two or three companies worth of A&A out there with us, along with our company, and we're going through some wadis back towards like these mountains that are right on the border with Pakistan. So our pucker factor is high, and Kiowas are buzzing left and right and left and right. And then
Like
all of
bees,
us,
man.
oh yeah, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden one comes over and starts hovering right over top of us, and I'm like, what the fuck? I look over at Kyle, dude, what the fuck? Why are they just hovering right there? Then all of a sudden something falls out of the sky, out of the Kiowa, and you see Kyle run over there and pick it up, and of course he's grinning ear to ear. Kyle was a bit of a character. I love that guy. It was like a fucking Barbie doll or something that they had brought him from like Jalalabad and flown it all the way up here, and it was some game that they were fucking playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the pilots, man. They're crazy. I love them.
I love them, bro. I love it. And so if you're a pilot out there and you have you want to come on the show, let us know, man. And if there's any 160 SOAR guys out there, let us know
Yeah,
because we'd love to have you on. And hopefully, knock on wood, we can get you can pair up the gun camera footage from Why Not, and then have those pilots that flew that mission come on, dude, because that to me that would be so interesting. I know we're in comms with those guys, and it's good. It's gonna be that'll be a good one to talk about.
it
So
will be.
yeah, man. So I mean, yeah, it's the one he was talking about, especially when he was a Task Force Falcon, and he was like he was our air officer, and he had to be in a meeting. Like General McChrystal was in there, and
Oh yeah.
you know the battalion commander Phil was in there, and like I think whoever else was in there, and we just did a serious op, dude. It was like contested stuff happening, and his Kiowa got shot up with ground fire, and he had to land it, and he had to like run to get to the meeting, and they're like, "Hey man, like, hey, why are you late?" No, I think he was a lieutenant. I don't know what. Yes,
Yeah.
he was
I think you said it was a captain, but
captain
yeah.
captain at the time, and he went to the meeting, General McQuisto, and they're like, hey, why are you late, man? You're late to the meeting or whatever. Battalion commander's looking at him. He's like, well, if you looked over, if you saw that guy took ground fire, and I had to land to get to the meeting. So they're like, oh, that's a
I'll
good
give
excuse. That's a
we'll
good
give you a
excuse.
pass on that one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, dude, he's an amazing guy, and I'm so lucky to going over all these guests that we've had, I'm so lucky to be associated with all these the heroes and stuff, the people that we've had on the show, man. And there's so much more that's coming, guys. I tell you, it's like I wish I could tell you more on what's happening, but there's a lot more coming that you're going to see within our podcast, and there's people that we're going to be working with, and there's stuff that we're going to be kind of partnering with going forward, but
Yeah.
it's going to be really, 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 really cool, man. And I'm like truly honored to be part of this. And our conversation, our podcast style, we're not scripted, man. We don't do any of that shit. Like we let you tell a story and we just listen. Like we're just a bunch of people. Like we don't have any. There's no script. There's no paper. There's no formal shit. We're not going to sit here and you talk about ourselves the whole fucking like it's your story, man. So it's like a bunch of people just bullshitting for 2 to 3. I think our longest was 4.
Oh
Eric
God.
Phillips was like four
Well,
hours.
te-
Uh
technically that one was about 8 hours because we had to redo it. But
yeah.
yes.
But yeah, man, that's our style. and that's our style. And good, bad, or indifferent. It is what it is. We're never gonna. I mean, that's how we do it. And
Yeah.
there's no pressure on the guest. It's whatever you want to talk about, and you want to stare away from some stuff and all that kind of shit. Sure, we just have a conversation, but we respect everybody that comes on the show, and it's we've got a pool of people that we really trust and are really really good human beings, bro, and that's what matters for us to, especially when you get on here and you kind of trust that person that we're interviewing because they get good credibility and they're gonna it's just going to be good, right? So it's been awesome so far, man. So I mean, just looking through the guests now and going back and just
Yeah.
looking
Who
down
do
the
we got
list.
next? Let's talk a little bit about them.
Yeah. Um. Oh, one thing, man. I was thinking about episode 6 yesterday about Chaplain Shields because he just
Oh
retired. He
yeah.
just formally hung it up.
I know he's out in
Yeah.
Wisconsin now,
Yeah.
looking good.
Bro, that was probably um that was one of my top fun ones to
Oh,
do.
okay, so this is the second time you said this. I'm going to put you on the spot here. I promise we had not talked about this before.
Yeah.
Give me your top three. We've done 14 so far, and for
My
everybody
top
out
three.
there, hold on. For everybody out there, this is not an indictment of anybody. They've all been great, but what have been your top three favorites?
My top three favorites,
Yeah.
right? I would probably say Chaplain Shields is probably one of them.
Okay.
I'd say now, is there a combat versus just overall good conversation?
Just overall good conversation, good story. You name it.
I liked conversation wise. I liked Chaplain Shields. I liked Ryan Henderson, and I liked and fuck man, it's either Haven or Keith.
Okay.
Um, you hate putting me on the spot, man. I loved them all. I liked them all. I like Sergeant Major Loves too, episode one. But which we got to redo Sergeant Major Love. We have to
We
get
do
him
got to
back
do
on,
Sergeant Major Love
right?
again.
Because we should have had him early, like later on instead
Yeah.
of having. I just felt like, he's my mentor of mine.
Yeah.
He's a legend in the 82nd. He's a legend in the Army. I was like, oh, it'd be great to open up episode one, but they were all great. From the last deployment project with Chris Robinson was
Yeah.
good. Chatting with Doc was great.
Yep.
Mac, Sergeant Major Mac, um, from the big screen and what he's doing. He just came out in a really popular one the other day, and he did really well on that. So,
Okay.
of course, Eric Phillips and having
Yeah.
conversations with Desiree and Jerry
Oh
Pat.
yeah.
Like, there's so many, man. Tony,
Yeah.
like they're all good, man. It's hard to pick three, but I have fun with them all. So and of course, like, some like the Battle of Why Not discussion, that was
Okay.
really interesting. It was depressing, a little
Okay. So what
depressing.
about this then? If okay, so I'm a brand new listener. Where should I start? Give me one episode, Jerry, where I should start, in your opinion.
Why are you asking? What about you? You're going to give me your three first.
Nope.
What are
I'm the
your three?
boss. I'm the boss.
Shut up. There's no
Put a
boss in
sir on the
here.
end of that. Put a sir on the end of that.
Go grab your fucking two quart, sir. Fucking Sergeant Major don't play like that shit. No, dude, if I was going to lean any, like if I'm looking at this,
I'll give you my top three, and
that's
I'll
a
give you
hard
my
one,
number
bro.
one
You put me on the
afterwards.
spot.
You want
Huh?
me to go now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So you want me to go my where should you start first,
Yeah,
or my
go ahead.
top
Go
three
ahead.
first?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So if it's up to me, and I'm a brand new subscriber, or just interested, I think I've got to go with probably the best storyteller, in my opinion. And that's Charlie.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. Charlie was awesome.
Yeah, I think now I'm going to reverse course a little bit here when I give you my top three, but I think that's the one that if you're just getting into this and you're curious what we're about and you want to hear a good story that ranges from, quite frankly, being a trigger puller in Ranger Regiment to finding your calling, getting out, having a small career there, and then realizing, you know what, I still got some more to give, and then coming back in as an officer now and a chaplain and still serving in Ranger Regiment and still doing conventional side stuff as well. Just a phenomenal storyteller, and it was a really, really good story. As far as top three, oh God, I shouldn't have volunteered
Yeah,
for
you
this.
got yourself into it, man. Hey,
Yeah, I know.
even Trenton was good too. We can get
I
Trent back on.
oh trust me, I was thinking I've got Trenton right here, man. I love Trenton Petty's story, by the way, and we've got to get him back on here. For anybody that's not tracking, Trenton Petty, Ranger Association, National Ranger Association, and Best Ranger Competition. He is the one on the civilian side now that he's retired, helps Ranger Regiment or Ranger Training Brigade put on the Best Ranger competition every year. You want to talk about a cool fucking job, man? That's the job I want.
Yeah, he's
All
got
those
guns for
weapons.
days.
Oh
I
my
know
God.
he's got guns for days, man.
Dude, we have got to go. We got to figure out a way to get down there so that we can shoot some of those weapons he's got in that Connex. I don't need the
Hmm.
code to it. I just want to see it and I just want to shoot him.
Hey, it's the deal, man. When you want to put, him, he's the conduit for that. But when you want
Yeah.
to put, if you're a vendor and you're like, hey, man, I want to get my SIG whatever into the hands
Yeah.
of some of the best athletes in the world, and I call them athletes, they're
They
warrior
are.
athletes,
Yeah.
right? But to put like put that in their hands for them to compete in something that's not like anything in the world to do. It's he's got it. He's got it. And he's the right guy. Like he started out as a firefighter, did that for a little bit, and then he found his niche, man. And he's doing really, really good things for the Ranger community. And the Ranger community saved his life, dude. He
Yeah.
was an alcoholic for a while, and he found his niche, and he's doing it. So, and he's probably he's one of the better, like association wise, and as a director or whatever across the military. I think he's one of the better guys that's doing that, man. And I know he's got best Ranger under his belt, and that's always something to have to
Yep.
really to drive that. But for I'm so proud of him, man. I'm so proud of what he does, in what he's doing now, and being a good family man, and just being a good dude,
Yeah.
and doing things, and it's good. But it's great, man. Just looking at these pictures, man, and obviously Chris from Last Deployment Project, right?
Yeah.
Like that's our story from that's our battalion story from
Yeah.
HKIA and the last deployment to Afghanistan. So that's a great one too. He was just on Tier One
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
podcast. So he's got his episode coming out with those guys as well. So great guy that's doing a lot of good things for those veterans from the last deployment, not just HKI, but they were there for during that last 9 to 8 months, 9 to 10 months
Yep.
there, doing a lot with his association, our last deployment project, great one. But yeah, man, you're right. You just looking at the. Did you tell me your other ones? Did you go keep going? I got away from
Yeah.
that. Keep going.
Yeah. I think I thought I
Go,
did,
go,
man.
yeah, yeah, go ahead. Don't try to sneak out of this one.
Okay, here we go. So number three, I gotta have Des up in my top three. Okay,
Yeah,
just because of the personal stories she knows of us, and
yeah,
it was fun, right? That one for both of us for the same reasons was just a really really good episode.
yeah.
Um, she's a good storyteller and an interesting story, quite frankly, one that a lot of infantry guys out there are not going to be familiar with.
Dude,
Um,
that the push of the button for like 300
yeah,
something
boop,
confirmed kills.
boop,
Like that's it
boop.
when
She's a fucking
when she
widowmaker.
was
Yeah,
yeah, she was when she was I mean, obviously the colonel's saying push
yeah,
it, but
the
she's gaining the
yeah,
information to do that. But
yeah,
as a Ranger Regiment S2,
yeah,
so that's fucking insane.
yeah. Again,
If
for
it
anybody
drop
that
riding a horse, bloop. If it's sitting in the button, bloop. She was
boop,
just dropping bombs.
boop. Yeah,
Yeah,
so for anybody that doesn't know, Desiree, episode 10, Major Sanderson now, was our Battalion S2, Polar Bear 2. So she started off as an intel officer, made her way, redeployed early from our deployment so that she could take command of the MICO and 2nd Brigade. But then coming out of command, did the career transition where she moved into acquisition corps. And now she's doing that deal with the acquisition corps. Still an extremely interesting story, one that you're not going to hear a lot of times. So that's another reason why I think number three for me. Number two, I think it's Haven.
yeah,
I
that was a good
really,
one.
yeah, I really liked Haven's story. And the fact that he is, and I know he starts off, I'm going to mess it up so I'll just paraphrase. When Jerry and I are talking to him, he's like, "Look, I'll, it, at this point, I'll tell the story. You may not want to hear what I say, but I'll tell the story. And that was the context behind that was, hey, look, we know this is going to be kind of an emotional thing for you, or potentially an emotional thing going over some of these details. But he's like, look, man, at this point, I've come to grips. A lot of hard work to come to grips with everything that he went through with that. Um, but yeah, I'll tell the story, and he did. He fucking told the story, and it was a hell
He
of a
just
story.
yeah, he's a damn good leader anyway.
He is.
So it
Yeah.
just is it's embedded in him. He's a combat proven leader. It's like
Yeah.
he's just a guy that's in, you know, it's like with Eric too. Like Eric's
Yeah.
like the way he can function under fire. Like the guy's, I don't, I know he had nerves and stuff, but he just functions. He
Yeah.
just does things under the most intense situation. That's who he is, and that's the same way with Haven. Haven's the same way, man. So they just got this specific thing, the gene in them, where they can just stay calm, cool, collective, and make good leadership decisions under some of the worst fucking conditions, man.
Yeah.
So that's who Haven is.
Yeah. And then
But
number one for me has got to be Eric. One, he's a close personal friend. It's you know the deal, right? We don't spend a lot of time usually in a single unit, especially not as senior leaders. I was lucky enough to spend 4 years with the 173rd, which is one of the main reasons why I like it so much. Because I've got there is no other unit that I've served with as long. I just haven't. Um, so I got a special connection to that, and just we talked with him for 3+ hours,
he's
and
just a damn good dude, man.
we only covered like really 12 months
I know
of
he's
his
just a
life.
damn good dude, dude.
Yeah,
I know he was, listen to the guys on the battlefield discussions about why not. You could tell that he was a hard ass. He was a
yes,
hard ass dude. He was a
he
hard
was.
ass, leader. Like
Yeah,
you'd get on your shit if you weren't doing the right thing, man. But yeah,
he
it
fucking
was
cared.
great. It was great. I agree. I'd have him up there too. I just, have that,
Yeah,
it
it's
was a
hard.
great interview too. Like I listened a lot to that one. I didn't do a lot of speaking in that because that's really like you and his story, man. So, but all I can say is that he's got the best hair I've ever seen in anybody in my entire life. That guy's got a good head of hair,
So
man. I ain't gonna lie.
so
He got
for
good head.
anybody that hasn't seen, he posted on Facebook. What was it, like a week or two ago?
I don't know. It's like portfolio picture or something.
Yeah, he's
It was
he's
great.
he's like sitting in his chair like this. He's all dapper, got the suit on, got the hair, got the goatee going. Yeah, he's a GQ guy. That's for sure.
Yeah. I just thought I'll go back to this episode real quick. Yeah, I thought it was so army when they like emailed him his distinguished service cross, or no, he got an email. He got
Yeah,
an email from the fucking army saying, "Hey
yeah.
man, like here's your distinguished service cross or something." Like the battalion commander didn't know about
Yeah,
it. Nobody
Colonel
knew
Austin.
about
Yeah,
it. But so fucking like here's the army tradition. Like here, man, you got to.
oh
He
my
just
god.
checking his emails. Like, what the fuck? I got a distinguished service cross. He's like, yeah, you got the distinguished service cross, and it was in his car.
Yeah,
It's
just
like
sit, not just
so.
sitting in his car, like buried somewhere under garbage
Yeah,
in his car.
battalion commander's
Uh,
like, what do you got? You
so
got
I can
he's like,
only when he told that story, I didn't know that beforehand. When he told that story, I can picture Colonel Oslin, and for anybody that was in the 173rd and knows Colonel Oslin, you know what I'm talking about. He's a very stoic guy, right? And we always used to joke that if you want a visual of what Colonel Oslin looked like, imagine Mel Gibson and Arnold Schwarzenegger maybe had a baby, right? That was kind of Colonel Oslin, just fucking granite jaw, didn't smile a whole lot, but when he did, right, he was extremely personable and very nice to be around. So I can imagine in my mind's eye what's happening is he sees Eric, coming out of the gym or whatever it was. He's all like, it's one of those rare moments when he's smiling and maybe going over there and giving him a little punch on the shoulder or something. Hey, what's up, Eric? How you doing? Kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, Eric drops his bomb on him, and his face just what?
so fucking army, dude. It's
Okay,
so army.
okay, Eric, hand me that. Yes, thank you. I'll take care of this.
Yeah, it's not an AM. It's a distinguished service cross.
Fucking
Like
distinguished
what?
service cross. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean,
stupid. It's like
oh my
it's
god.
so army, bro. Fuck,
Yeah.
they'll fuck up a football bat. This is stupid. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good one, man. And you know, you know, if there's any, and if there's any ladies out there that have a good story too, man. If you're on a
Yeah.
female engagement team or
Yeah.
Anything else? We've had Desiree on, man.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your story too, right?
Or a
We just,
spouse.
we're a
Yeah.
spouse, or
Yeah.
if there's Gold Star family members that want
Yeah.
to come on and tell their story, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I know one, especially Keith Callahan's wife, Dodie. I've already asked her. She's like, yeah, I'll come on. So
Hell yeah.
I think those would be good stories to hear and hear what the family side of
Yeah.
what we do in the military and some of the shitty shit that happens and how our family deals with it. So yeah, man. But the way ahead, guys, I tell you, we are working our asses off to get you some good content and get you some stuff out there, and
Yeah.
get you some good people. And our next episode will be battlefield. There'll be another battlefield discussion. So if you go on our YouTube page, Chris is really smart at all those stuff. He's good at digital shit and doing all the But if you go on the YouTube page, he's got on the playlist. We're gonna start. It's all organized in there. If there's anything you guys want to dig through and look at, it's there. And we're on all socials. We're just not on
Yeah.
YouTube. We're on X. We're on
Spotify, or we're on
Spotify,
Facebook, Instagram,
Facebook.
Apple Podcasts. Yeah, you name it, we're
Yeah,
out there.
we're all over it now. It's only us two old farts who are trying to figure out social media. So some of it's lacking behind. They're trying to update all this stuff. We're trying to get all that stuff together, and we're working through that stuff. And working through some guys that come help us editing and all that kind of thing. Because
Hey, how cool would it be if somebody out there, Jerry? I mean, I don't personally know anybody like this, but at least I don't know that I know anybody like this. How cool would it be if somebody maybe played us or made us an intro song?
that might be good or bad. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, but I mean,
It'd be
imagine
like that
if,
song from like Afghanistan where those SF guys were like in the sand doing the.
well, it's either going to be that, or I'm like envisioning. Okay, but seriously, for all our fans out there, if y'all are musically inclined and you would like to help us develop some sort of intro music, we would love it. Um, just make sure it's not, what was that? Oh my God, I wish I could pull it up. That little clip of the girl singing, I wonder what's inside your butthole.
Shut
I
up,
wonder what's
dude.
inside
When
your
you brought that
butthole.
up, bro, I don't know where that came from. When you put that out when we were at the polar bears, I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Uh, yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, if there's, I know we're trying to, the thing about it is we love to get some editors on here that can help us out with the editing piece, but we just can't. We don't make any money off this stuff, so like we're obviously looking for some help on that. I know Chris has got a contact he's reaching out to, but if there's anybody that's good at this stuff that want to help us out, sure. I mean, we have to talk about a little bit of it and do some introductions. But yeah, you know, we just can't pay anybody. We don't make any money off this shit.
Yeah,
We
no
just do
shit.
this for a hobby. So
Yeah.
we're trying to improve digitally and try to find ways to get better. And obviously, I don't know fucking I don't know shit about this when it comes to it. It is what it is. I just got banned on X today. So if anybody's on X that sees wonder where I'm at, I just got banned for 11 hours for some stupid shit. So like I can't go on my X account
Jerry's a
to do
bad
there.
boy.
So I don't have no idea why he's got banned. But I'll be back on tonight. But and for every all those guys that are on X that are listening to, thank you guys for the support too. I've
Yeah.
been pushing out a lot of stuff on my page as well. I've got made a lot of good progress on followers last night, and then me and Chris we'll be punching out as much information we can for the pod to you guys through those channels. X is really really good. Maybe because there's a lot of old crusty 80s guys on there I know, or old paratroopers or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of you out there that I know are running with some random name tags, and I'm like, is that who I think it
I,
is?
I, I
I
think I
don't know.
know
I
that
think it.
guy.
Oh,
I
I
think I
know.
know
I,
that
I
guy.
know you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good, guys. So like, if you guys can, give us we're only doing it for y'all, man. So
Yeah.
we this is a hobby of ours, and this is Chris is getting ready to transition out of the army. I'm already transitioned. I got a day job, so we do these when we can. We try to keep updated on all stuff, and it's about and I know when you do this business, it's all about quality,
Yeah.
right? It's not, but again, we don't have a fancy studio. We're just two normal guys that just do this for fun and
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my basement on
unscripted.
top of a pool table.
Yeah, I actually just got I'm a fan of MacBook now. I'm just going to tell you that right now because I never had a MacBook before, and I just bought one right now, and it's like the best thing ever. It's like
Oh yeah.
I'm so like so giddy when it comes to messing with this computer. Like I'll never get an HP or anything again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, yeah, man, we appreciate it. I'll just ramble, but I'll tell you, coming up, Chris say some stuff, but we have got a really good battlefield discussions coming up here soon. I think we're going to drop it on August 17th. It's about Task Force Falcon. It's going to be James Downing and Kevin Spooner. They were both command team together for that mission set. It's just a conventional maneuver unit that worked, like as we said earlier, worked under General McChrystal and then Colonel Miller, um, now General Miller's umbrella within those organizations to do, nothing but air assaults into some of the worst places in
Yeah.
Iraq, just to stir the pot. That's it, man. Like so, it's 15, 18 months of just an awesome story that's never been told. Like this has never been told to anybody. These would be the first two guys besides Keith. Keith dug into it a little bit when he was the air officer there, and he's mentioned in his Keith Benoit in his last episode about when he was the air
Yeah.
officer there, when he took ground fire and all that stuff. But great guy. But we're gonna have two guys actually sit down and say, hey, this is what it was, this is what we did, kind of thing. And it's a good start point because we'll have more guests come on, and this will. It's like it'll be a good story, guys. Trust me when you
Yeah.
hear it. So that's one. But again, we're looking for more people that have other experiences in other places within GWOT or
Yeah.
whatever that you want to start into this. So yeah, I mean that's our next episode, Chris. What else do you think in the future that you can disclose right now that you can
Yeah.
kind
So
of
one of
tell
the
everybody?
Yeah, no, 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 no. So one of the ones I'm working on with Jerry, but me personally, that I think is going to be really, really good, is kind of getting us back out of the shoots realm and back over to the boots side a little bit with some 10th Mountain love. Is a former Polar Bear Six, so a former battalion commander 431, that commanded the battalion from I think it was 2003 to 2006 or 2002 to 2006. I can't remember. But right after 431, so anybody that doesn't know, now General Retired Townsend was the battalion commander of 431 back when 9/11 happened. And so they deploy elements of 431 over all over the Middle East. They send Charlie Rock into Afghanistan as the first conventional forces into Afghanistan. And then shortly after that, he changes command now with Colonel Retired John Spicer. And so he is the president of the Polar Bear Association, so the 31st Infantry Association. So we're going to get him on either this month or early next month to tell his story, and it's fascinating. So that was a time frame for the battalion where a
Is
lot
that
of the
is that Chris when they lost the K? Is that the POW? Was he battalion commander for the Delta Company? The position that was,
I don't think
remember?
so.
Okay,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't think it was him.
okay.
But they deployed companies all over the place, like his entire command. It seemed like, um, just everywhere, Africa, Middle East, you name it. Um, and then had a very interesting career post military. He got into the DA civilian side for a while. That's actually where he and I met over in Europe. So he worked over there, and I met him when I was the chief of ops over there. But then came back over here, and now he is officially retired, and living a good life. And so we'll try to get him on here soon. And then the other one I mentioned is another 173rd episode. We're going to talk possibly battlefield discussion on Operation Avalanche, Rock Avalanche, and that's where Sal Junta recovered one of my old buddies' body before the Taliban could take him off. So
There's a lot more to come.
yeah,
There's a
a
lot
lot
more
more
to
to come.
come.
A lot more to come.
So
Hey, real quick, I know it feels like we're kind of winding down here a little bit. Um, hey, Chastity. Hey, thanks for coming on. I appreciate all the love you've been sharing with us over on all the
hell
different
yeah,
socials.
see you all over the
Yeah,
place.
Yeah, I appreciate you, girl. I really,
Yeah,
really do.
yeah.
Hey, again, I mentioned this at the start, right? We're partnering with Chosen Flags. So if you got any flag needs, I'm trying to get a custom made flag for Jerry and I for boots and shoots. So I'm gonna work with Ski. And so if you're needing a flag of any sort, you want to get yourselves a 173rd flag. Maybe you want to get yourselves a polar bear flag or an American flag. Reach out to Ski. That's chosenflags.com. Um, you can look him up. He'll they ship all over the place for that. The other one, please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Um, so,
Hey,
oh, you were
Norseman,
on
man.
Spiker with us. Oh, sorry, real quick, Norseman.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to guess who you are, but I'm just we know. But uh, yeah, yeah, man. If you ever you want to tell a story too, just let us shoot us a message, man.
Yeah,
Like I'm just glad, brother, that we are officially starting to
yeah,
tell this story. Like it's something that everybody's been so hush hush because of their, obviously the things that were done and stuff that was who we fell under, and everybody's very real hush hush and stuff like that. But I am just truly honored to get this story out. Chris is listened to it, and this will be the first time people have actually sat down and we've talked about this and what's going on. It's been mentioned in a couple books a little bit, and people was talked about it. I ran into when me and Chris are closing out Afghanistan. I ran into General Miller, and I talked to General Miller about Task Force Falcon and TFF, and he remembered it all. Like I was like he knew it down. He knew it down to our casualties that we lost and the dudes that didn't come back from that deployment. He remembered all that stuff. He remembered when Keith was killed. Like he still remembers all that. He still keeps it, and it's still talked about up in the echelons under the Falcon effect is what they called it. So the higher levels talk about it within those communities. So it's going to be great to tell it. I'm so humbled and privileged to be able to sit here and be a conduit about our guys coming on here and telling that story. So,
yeah,
and it's just again, guys, it's just not these. That's not 173rd and 82nd, man. Like if you guys can leave us in the comments, what are some of the stories that we need to tell? Like what do you guys like? What are some like? Just give us a, like, hey man, '05 to '06 or '04 to '05 Mosul striker battalion, whatever, or black card, who's in black cards, or
yeah.
did you fight Ramadi? Like send us some like some
DMs.
thoughts, some
Yeah,
DMs on like what are some of that stuff, so we can kind of there's just a lot, man, and it's for us to sit here and like pull in everything that we know within our little hand reach for us to. These are the stories we want to tell. There's a lot more out there that we want to know, but just shoot us some comments, guys.
yeah. Or if you
Yeah.
know somebody that you think should come on here, let us know. Maybe we can help convince them to come on and share the story. Again, like Jerry said, this is completely unscripted, but in a good way, right? It's just a conversation, just like Jerry and I are doing right now. We just want to sit down, share your story, get it out there, and have some fun.
Yeah. And you can just laugh at us too. If that's what you want to
Oh yeah,
do. Just laugh at us and how we try to fumble through this shit. Chris's mic breaks because it always doesn't work, or he's shuffling around with his microphone, or my camera doesn't work, the lighting's terrible. You can't hear us. Like it's all you can just sit there and critique us and laugh at us all day. But that's what it
I,
is, and that's
I
what
can
makes
get
our
closer to the mic.
that's what makes
Does this
our
help?
dude. When you were moving it that one time, I think one of during the Wanat episode, and like
Yeah,
it
it was
was,
like three
you're
episodes
and
ago.
you're like,
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to be like, Chris, what the fuck are you doing? So, yeah, man, yeah. So I think Lisa was that when Ricky Schroeder was talking?
Yeah.
Probably,
Or,
yeah.
or it was when he was, getting booted off because he lost connection. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
but yeah, yeah, man. What else we got to talk about real quick? So you got 27 people in here. That's not
Oh
bad at
yeah.
all.
I was hoping maybe somebody would have some questions for us.
You guys got any questions? If not, that's okay. It's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, dude. Um,
What
for
you got
for
going on
for
there?
for everybody that's out
Yeah.
there, just an update for who we are. So like, I don't think we've ever mentioned that. So I am I just retired last year. I am old retired command sergeant major. I did, 80, I'm an 82nd guy. I did 10th Mountain. I was in the 25th. I'm also a prior service Marine, so I was in the Marines for 4 years prior to going in the Army. So that's a little bit who I am. I'm just an old school infantry guy. That's what I did my whole career. Never did any special duty. Never went to drill sergeant, recruiter, nothing. I just sucked it up on the line the whole time until I got CSL selected to go to different spots as a sergeant major. So just a line time through and through. I thought 82nd Airborne Division lost my social security number because I saw everybody go everywhere else and I stayed there forever. But
Yeah.
that's a little bit who I am. I mean, Chris, you want to say who you are? I mean, we
Yeah.
never really did introductions like that.
Yeah. No. So 29 and some change right now, a little over 29 and a half years total service. I enlisted back in 96. Yeah, 96. So I'll hit 30 years in December um, as an MP. And so I wish I would have seen it. I saw a meme today that I thought about sending to you, Jerry. One of our followers on X put it on there. It was never trust a guy that enlists to be an MP. Well, that was me. And so enlisted to be an MP because my dad had done that. And to be completely frank, I was flunking out of college and needed to do something. And oh, by the way, they also paid for school. So, um, but yeah, then commissioned as an infantry officer because I wanted to walk around in the woods, shoot shit, and really wanted to go to Ranger school, even though I couldn't have told you a damn thing about being a Ranger at the time in 2001. And then, yeah, I've bounced back and forth. I was a light PL, then I was a striker PL, then I was a airborne company commander with the 173rd. Then I actually did my first of two stints in the old guard. So I got some old guard time there.
You and
Um,
James really have a good talk about that. It'd be
yeah,
fun.
actually, thank you for bringing him up. We do need to get James on here. Old James Strell.
No,
Um,
not James Strell, but James Downing
oh,
when he comes on the next
yeah,
episode.
no. I'm gonna let that asshole know because he's the one that tricked me into going to the old guard.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, for anybody listening, James Downing, when he comes on, he is the a hole that tricked me into going to the old guard the first time. But then, yeah, I did some striker time again. This time back out in Germany, where I did my S3XO time. Um, Popped back over to the old guard real quick. Helped plan President Trump's first inaugurational ceremony, and then got my battalion command up in 10th Mountain with Jerry. And then back out to Europe one last time, and now I'm here in Maryland. Got retirement orders in hand, just waiting to retire. And so I will say this because the lawyers have advised me to do this, Jerry, and we need to start doing this more often. All of my comments are mine and mine alone. They do not reflect the Department of War or the Department of Defense, and neither does anyone else on this broadcast. These are my thoughts, Chris Rowe. Period. Point blank. Thank you.
I'm retired.
Yeah, I know. I still don't say it.
So, guys, if you ever want to look at how to do a bio, like you can tell the difference between an NCO and then an officer by what he just did versus what I did, because that's how they are, right? They're just like,
All over the place.
well, I served as a platoon leader from August 1962 from
Hey,
till
shut up.
fucking to February
Shut up.
1963. Then I went up to whatever. Then I was a staff officer at the command college, and
You know what?
I
Not
did
all of us
this,
get to
and
stay
then
at
I
the
was an
82nd
F,
for like 20 years.
and I was a brigade S3, and then I was a chaplain's assistant, and all this kind of shit. So, like, yeah, that's what makes this show go good, guys.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't think there's anybody out there that has,
No.
I'm sure there's gonna be people doing it now, but me and Chris have that. Like, I was his sergeant major. I was
And
his command sergeant major.
he used to bust my balls every day at the office too.
It was a good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good that like we still talk about stuff today, and were we the best? You get whatever you want to say.
Yes. Yes.
Whatever,
Yes.
whatever. I'm the
Yeah.
humble one, but yeah, that's how me and Chris came to. We served together during, the last deployment in Afghanistan. So we were the conventional forces force provider for all the infantry for that last month, all the way up to HKI, where we sent our Charlie company up there. With Chris went up there to HKI, went through that whole shit show of stuff, and then got everybody back, and then we finished out. Or I think I did 30 months with Chris here, maybe a little, maybe under that, because I think we had Wallace for a little bit, and then you came in.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it special because we have a connection, and we
Over 2
try
years.
to, yeah, we try to. I remember the night Heath was wounded. We rounded up every man. Man, we could. We hit houses all night. I know it's there.
Oh my
Let
God.
me let me let me tell you something
It,
about
it
that.
hold on real quick. It took me until you read that out loud because I had read that already to realize what he meant by ma'am. For it, when I read it to myself, I was like, "What the fuck is a ma'am?"
What do you mean?
Military age
You
male.
should know that. You're a
Ah,
GWAT guy.
yeah, I know, I
If
know.
you're a GWAT veteran, you know what MAM is. You're
God,
kind of weird.
yeah, but
You're probably a nerd.
okay, all right, there, high speed. What's your pause
Low
rep? I've
low
never heard of
drag,
a pause rep before until I served with the Marines in Fallujah. Thank you very
low
much.
drag, long low drag, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. So um, when Heath was wounded, I felt so shitty about that too because I was a platoon sergeant. I'll give you a little story, Chris.
Yeah.
With Heath was one of our paratroopers in our platoon, and he is a great guy. He is the most he's a gentle bear, man. He's just a good he likes singing. He's just one of those dudes that I wouldn't say he's just a dude there. He's a guy, right? But he's liked by everybody, right? And dude, I was doing getting ready to go do resupply, right? Like I had to recon the LZ for a resupply that was coming that night and make sure the LZ's good. So I was moving out, and I'm a big stickler. Like all sergeant majors have a fucking thing. If you want to say fucking walking on the grass is your thing and go with it, you're a fucking nerd. If that's what it is, you're just a fucking nerd. But everybody has a thing from button up, look, cuffing to putting, your boot blouse to just, all that kind of stuff. Well, mine's iPro, right? So mine was an iPro. That was
I
my
don't
thing
know.
as a sergeant major. The reason being for that, because I was like, the one day that I was feeling fucking sorry for myself, it was 100 something degrees out, and I took my fucking iPro off, and I tried to jump this like this. I don't know, fucking like it was like a water, I don't know, whatever. I tried to jump on it and my foot slid out on me and I had my nods on, right? And the fucking nods like cut my whole eye and sliced my eye open. And I was like, what the fuck, Doc? Doc comes running over, he's like, you all right? And I was like, fuck, I just crushed my fucking eye. And I'm good. I'm good, right? He's like, well, life limber eyesight, you gotta go, sir. You gotta go, Sergeant. I'm like, Doc, really? Like, this is some bullshit, right? This is some fucking. I'm fine. I'm good. He's like, he wraps this thing all. I look like I took a round of I had this big thing on my face, and
Yeah.
we didn't call him the resupply bird. We just waited for a resupply. He just threw me on they dropped the pallets out of the Chinook, and I just jumped on the back. I had no idea where I was going. So I flew to fucking Fallujah, got off with all these Marines with this fucking Q-tip on my head. I'm like, what the fuck is going? Where do I go? I don't know. And Task Force Falcon has their LNOs there. I had to try to find it. Everybody's looking at me like, what's that? Like, what? I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, dude. Where am I supposed to go? But thanks, Doc, for fucking sending me. I should have stayed there. But the thing about Heath was when they dropped me off and then they went back, they got hit. So they got hit by an IED, right? And he stepped on it and blew off his hand and his lower leg. But I would tell you, Heath, you always have an impression of your soldiers, right? Like you always like, oh, he's gonna do this. You don't know how they're gonna act. They're gonna do this, and how. But when he got hit, he was singing and doing some things. He just was just very tough. Very strong minded of what he was going through as they were putting him on the helicopter. That's just who he was. Just his personality of I'd never expected that. Man, if I lost my fucking hand and my leg, I'd be cry like a little whatever,
Yeah.
but that wasn't who he was, right? So for me to hear that back at the aid state, back at the aid station or whatever, and he got the call, and I was like, the fuck, I felt super bad because you know they were. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, we had to go to the LZ recons. We had to do that. It wasn't there, but them going back kind of sucked on it. But and then I got hurt and I wasn't there as a platoon sergeant during that.
Yeah.
Was something that kind of bothered me for a while, but you can't control everything, and thanks Doc for putting that shit on my head again. But yeah, that's Heath, man. That's Heath, and
Nice.
people were pissed because Heath was the guy that everybody everybody, he was just a good guy. He's one of the ones that was popular, so he kept trying to go to the choir. I was like, you're not going to the choir, Heath. I'm not saying you just fucking need a second choir. I'm a good singer, but yeah, that's a quick story about that, Norseman, man. So yeah. But yeah, it was wild, dude. And wild times, man. Shit, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I think we're probably gonna get off here a second because Chris has got probably have to cut grass or something. But
grass isn't going to cut itself, Jerry. Grass isn't going to cut itself.
Yeah. If you guys got any recommendations, who else we want to hit up, man? I think Chris mentioned some pretty big names that we're trying to work on in the future. Looking at some.
And we do have, if you remember, Jerry, we do have a surprise guest, the Iceman. At some point, we may be getting on here.
Okay.
Yeah, don't want to go into too much detail on that one yet.
Yeah, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. He's the Iceman. He's called Ice, but he runs a popular Army social media page that trust me, everybody knows. So we'll have him on here and kind of talk about that said social media page that everybody knows. So I am super excited to talk to the Iceman about that, and we'll get his name out as soon as he comes out. But he's got some stories and he's got some stuff behind that page it's going to be kind of like, wow, man. Like,
well, would it be fair to say that some of our guests may say "what the fuck"?
Yeah, they might say "what the fuck."
Yeah, or WTF
yeah.
even. I don't know.
So, yeah, man. So it's like he's one of the guys that runs the page, but we're excited to have it because I'm super interested to dig into the background of that and how does that ran and how does it affect commands and decisions are made off that and stuff like that. So I think he just recently came out during a conference. I can't remember which one it was.
I think that was a little while ago, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So like we'll have him on there. But we have a long list of guys. We want to stick, we're sticking, we haven't got to the level where we want to put like generals and stuff. I don't think you guys would find that. Nothing against those guys, but there's just it's not my cup of tea to really talk to that. I think it's, you're looking like, you look at I think ours has pretty much been major, maybe lieutenant colonel and below kind of thing. And it's kind of sticking to the younger guys, but yeah, we are super excited about all this stuff. And
so real quick, somebody did mention or recommend the other day possibly doing like a book review kind of thing. I know you like to read a lot. I do.
I am not a reader, but if you want to, I could.
I know.
No, actually, you'd be surprised though. I don't know what kind of books that you kind of want to talk about, but
I read everything. You know that.
Yeah, I did. We ain't doing no love stories or romance novels.
Well, that was going to be the first one. It was going to be one of those smutty things, where like people are talking about dragons, and then next thing you know, they're doing it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, if that's what we want to do, I don't know what. Like, it's the cool thing about this whole pod thing is we can go in any direction, but it's up to like these guys that are listening to what they want to do, like what they want to.
Thank you for bringing it back to the guests.
Right? Yeah, you got to, man. You got to. I'm just not like, doing stupid shit on pod. I'm not jumping off into my pool or because the audience wants me to.
Maybe next summer. Maybe next summer.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think we're at 363 on YouTube. And it doesn't matter to us, guys. It doesn't matter. I mean,
it helps, but it does, Jerry, in the sense that it helps us get your stories out there to a further population, right? So really the way it works is the more subscribes we have, the broader our message gets out there, the broader your message, the people, your stories get out there. And so that is one of the reasons why, that is the main reasons why Jerry and I need you to like and subscribe, because we want to get your story out there beyond just the echo chamber that is us. Does that make sense?
No, can you repeat that in officer terms?
Okay, so fucking hit the like and subscribe, please.
There you go. I understand that,
Otherwise, you will not be dismissed.
dude.
We
Yeah, I
will stay
understand that.
here. We will stay here.
No,
I'll hold
I understand that.
formation every 2 hours until you hit the like and subscribe.
Were you ever a big fan of mass punishment? I
No,
don't think
it
we
did.
did.
No,
I
we
don't.
never did.
I don't think
We
we
never
did
did.
any of that shit.
No, it
I
was
remember
always very pointed. There would be a mass talking to, but there was never a mass punishment. Because if you remember, the closest we ever came to it was the shit between us and the golden showers. I mean, golden dragons.
Yeah, I need to talk to you about that,
Oh, I know. We talked unless
dude.
you got some
I'm
more
so
new
fucking
news.
pissed.
You got some more
Huh?
new news.
No, I'm
Okay.
so
Yeah.
fucking pissed off at that.
Yeah. So I'm.
I
If you
I don't know if
remember,
we should mention it, but I
no,
know
no,
some.
no.
Dude, I just keep it, but dude,
Yeah.
you know, when you're a command team, dude, you try to do the best you can for the battalion, and then somebody like kind of within your battalion causes some issues or destroys something that means a lot to the battalion, and you thought it was the other battalion, but
Historically significant.
it was somebody in you within your battalion. You just
Yes.
get so fuck. I'm so pissed off
Yeah.
about that, man. I'm still, it's like years and years. I'm still upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but to me, that was, there was an officer involved in that, and I think you would have probably crushed his soul if you found out
Oh,
about
I
it.
would have
But
fucking him
and
that guy up.
it's just, man. Because there's things, dude. I look back in my career and as a leader, dude. There's always stuff. It's just like, dude, should I have done it better, or should I did it a different way, or
Yeah.
did this approach it like that? No, I can't. I mean, I can't control any of it now. It is what it is. But still, even as old crusty, Santa Claus looking dude now that I am with a beard, uh, that I still look back on it, even in retirement, man. I'm like, yeah, that still drives me nuts, but it is what it is, man. Being a leader in at all levels, man, in whatever organization it is, it's always it's leadership is hard, dude. It's
Yeah.
not easy. If you think you're gonna go into this easy, oh man, I got my E5 now, bro. It's gonna be easy for me. Nope. It starts, dude. It starts.
Yes.
You should, you know, you got to understand that. And there's going to be things that you make decisions that aren't the right ones, and there's things that you're going to make really good decisions on. But you can't dwell on it. And sometimes I do. I still dwell on some of that stuff. Like I wasn't perfect, just wasn't perfect. But I think I developed a pretty good reputation as an NCO at all
Yeah, you
levels,
did.
all the way up to sergeant major in the infantry world and the conventional ground pounder side of the house to to do this podcast too, because guys wouldn't come on here and sit down and talk to us for fucking 3 hours if they didn't like us,
Yeah.
So, and I'm not looking for fucking like you to like them. That's not it. I'm just saying it's like I'm glad that you know we've got a good reputation on this thing, and it's not there's some pods that that don't, right, and they whatever, but and some like the chaos. They like the chaos. They like being in that world of chaos and like just being chaos. I think
Mm.
I like how we do things, and just
Clickbait.
having that opportunity. Yeah, having these guys come on the show just because they want to is makes a lot to me. Means a lot to me. You know.
Yeah.
So
And if not, then you're just going to put up with Jerry and I bullshitting like this all the time, which is fine too.
I don't know. People are listening to us. It's kind of so weird, dude.
No, I think they're bored,
I,
and I think
well,
maybe
it
somebody
is.
tricked them.
It is 3:49.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably sitting down watching a movie or
You know what
on
it
their
is?
phone, probably taking a shit. And they're probably taking a shit and watching us.
Well, no, they
Well, they
probably
probably
finished.
are.
They finished cutting the grass, and now they're pooping. So, they're like, man, what am I going to do right now? Oh, what is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. This is who we are, guys. This is who we are.
Yeah,
So you gotta take it or leave it, man.
that's right.
Take it or leave us. If you we try to get an episode out as much as we can in the future. Just let you guys know. We try to get an
Yeah,
episode out as much as you can. We'll try to get one out every week as much as we can. I work a day job. Chris is transitioning,
yeah.
so
I'll be TDY for everybody listening. I'll be TDY, and I only say that because I'm where I'm going. I'm not going to be able to do a podcast. But in 2 weeks, I'll be gone from the 18th through the 23rd. So
Hey, and by the way, you have a newly promoted colonel right here, so just give him congratulations when you can. He's getting some serious back pay, by the way,
what
which
is
is
he?
pretty awesome.
6 months of back pay. I'll take
Yeah,
that. Thank you.
6 months of back pay. Dude, that's baller.
Yeah.
That's a, yeah. That you know that's the good time for you to get this, bro. You need to put
Sadly,
that
I
in
think
savings.
most of it's already spoken for in bills.
Really.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. You were a battalion commander. You're not supposed to have financial problems.
Okay, I got a fucking
Leaders aren't
teenage.
supposed to have
I
financial
got a
problems, dude.
fucking
You're not
teenage
supposed to
boy
have
that's on a
mental
national
health
soccer
problems.
team.
You're not supposed to have financial problems. You're not supposed to have relationship problems. You're not supposed to. You're a senior leader. Someone's gonna clip that and be like, the fuck?
You know what? I've already got it from my one wife. I don't need it for my work wife. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I had all those. Well, I didn't have relationship problems, have a great wife, but
Nah.
I was like,
So
dude, mental health problems to,
don't tell
all that
Stacy, but she said she's gonna let me get a truck.
kind of truck you gonna get? You gonna spend $90,000 on a get like Sergeant Major Jack Love. He bought like a how much he
Oh
say he
yeah, no,
bought
no,
for his
no.
truck?
Yeah, it was. He said it was like 90, wasn't it?
God, dog. I don't know
Yeah,
how you
no,
guys,
no, 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 no,
dude. If you
nothing
think this
like that.
pod's gonna help you pay that, you might as well just it might get you some
Bro-
popcorn at the fucking
Brother, I still
movie
drive
theater.
around in the 2003 Jeep. Okay,
Yeah,
I think I
dude.
deserve
You know
a
what
new
though?
vehicle.
It is as a man. Like it is good to have because all you see what I was driving as a
Yeah,
sort like you I knew right away when guys are like, oh, Sergeant Major making big bucks. I'm rolling up in a like 2013 Ford Explorer, right? Like
oh
this
yeah,
is what I got. Like the tires are falling off, and
yep.
like, it's just what it is, man. That's what we get, man. So it's like
I don't think I ever told you.
we all have problems, dude. All leaders at
Yeah,
every level have
I don't
problems.
think I ever told you. So when Stacy and I first got married, and this was 2002, then I deployed to Korea, right? Do a year there, come back, and we do the church wedding in September of 2003. Then her and I drive from Maryland all the way up to Fort Lewis in a Toyota Echo. So if you've never heard of a Toyota Echo, think like a Chevy Spark if you've seen one of those. Okay. A little bitty, like almost hatchback looking car, 4 cylinder. We were going up. We took the northern route across the U.S. So we ended up going through northern Idaho. Beautiful, beautiful country. If you've never seen northern Idaho, you need to go. Gorgeous, but a lot of mountains. Brother, I felt like I was going to have to get out and start pushing this car up the hill. That's how bad it was. So we get to Fort Lewis, and I'm driving that car to work every day. And one point in time, our battalion commander, this is before I end up as a platoon leader there with 125 or in 125. Our battalion commander and our three come out one day and they're looking at the battalion parking lot and they see this little bitty Toyota Echo. Like, whose car is that? Like, oh, that's Lieutenant Rose.
Yeah,
Fucking giving me
yeah,
shit hard,
yeah,
hard.
man. I don't know, man. I know some guys that had tire cuts and slashed and shit in some nice cars because they were
Oh yeah,
leaders.
oh yeah.
So I don't know. If you're looking at your leadership time, Chris, what do you think was the most challenging part? At what level was the most challenging? Besides like combat
Yeah,
stuff, I'm saying
no,
overall, like, what do you think was
that's a
like the
good
hardest? It's like this shit was hard as fuck.
that's a good question. Um, well, probably my second command, only because that's when I took command of chosen company.
Yeah, this you had to get up. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see that.
and it's a toss up between that one or actually the old guard company, um, and that's
What was the numbers for you when you received like how many from Charlie Company? How many of you guys were wounded versus killed for the whole? Not just why not? Do you remember?
oh god, I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's the chosen few, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
Go
chosen
read the
few,
book.
second with 5 or third. I could get it for you. I don't remember off the top of my
Because
head.
you had to receive all that, so you had
Yep,
to get all that the backside of
yep,
that. So yeah,
yep.
that would be. Was the
So
first sergeant when you were there? Was he part of that, or is he
no,
was new
no.
too?
That was Beeson
Hmm.
and Meyer, and they rotated out about 4 months after we got back, 3 or 4 months,
Yeah.
and I came in with First Sergeant Shane Sport, really, really, really good first sergeant. Um, he had done, I think he was coming out of RTB, Ranger Training Brigade. Um, but yeah, it was just rebuilding the psyche of that team that had just been put through the ringer. Um, the one that I was probably least prepared for was the old guard, which made it difficult. I did not know I was going to have that many discipline issues there. Um, and for everybody listening, this is I'm a rarity in that I had three company commands. I had two in the 173rd, and then I had one in the old guard. Um, and at that point in time, one mentally, after two back-to-back Afghanistan deployments, one with each company with the 173rd, I did not want to go into command. Uh, I was happy being on staff and rowing extremely hard, but just being on staff and waiting until I was promoted and I could go to my next school. Um, but the brigade commander was like, "Nope, I want you to take command." And so, of course, you know the deal, Jerry. You're not going to say no to that. And so, yeah, I went in there within about 2 to 3 months of taking command. Our first sergeant was replaced, not because of change of responsibility, right? Had some other discipline issues in there, just again stuff that I was not ready for and did not think I'd have to deal with. So um, now that said, I absolutely loved being a company commander in the old guard. So I was a military honors company commander, which meant we our primary mission was internment of fallen uh, troopers. And to me, there is almost no greater honor that I have had as an officer is to serve and do that, but extremely, extremely taxing mentally um, to have to do that. So, what about yourself?
Right. Um, I think obviously one is some for me as an NCO too. So I think platoons are one or two over platoons are too because you don't have when you're like a new staff sergeant or something and you get promoted to first a sergeant first class and you move into a platoon. Like there's
Yep.
not much training. Like you don't
There's no
have
school.
there's no schools for it, and then you go into like especially in the 82nd Airborne Division, man. Like
Yeah.
going into a platoon and doing things. You got a young lieutenant that doesn't have as lot of experience that you have that can kind of assist you with that. Nothing against lieutenants or anything. I'm just letting you know, like it's get a kid out of West Point that probably doesn't
Yeah.
know much besides Ibolic or something. But like you just kind of have to figure it out, and that's when you're kind of like working with how do I get buy-in from my squad
Yeah.
leaders? Like how do I get those guys to help me out? Because I definitely can't do this on my own. I'm testing my leadership skills on how much I can do a micromanager versus, letting people do what they gotta do, and figuring all that shit out as a platoon sergeant. And then, you're in the combat world or in the warfighter world, you're at the tip of the spear when it comes to in the fight, right? So like
Yeah.
you're still working through Kazovac, you're doing all this stuff, and you're still young, right? And you're a staff sergeant. Some staff sergeants been platoon sergeants for a while, but it's you're formally in a position, right? So that I wouldn't say it was tough, but it was one of the it was a tough just going into that. And I think probably platoon sergeant. I think first sergeant was good. First sergeant was challenging too, man. Challenging at the administrative level too. Platoon sergeant was too, but first sergeant was too on doing what you got to do like for the administrative
Yeah.
piece of that, and you still had to work with some platoon sergeants and stuff like that. But yeah, platoon sergeant was just based on like understanding and getting to know what you have to do as a young NCO, young senior leader,
Yeah.
you know, hitting into that realm of hey, you're kind of developing how you your leadership style for the next levels like first sergeant and command sergeant major. That's how you start to develop all that because you're testing it all out, right,
Yeah.
as a platoon sergeant. So you're figuring it all out. So just figuring it out, I would say just platoon sergeant. First sergeant was awesome. One of the best times in my life, and being a command sergeant major, I love it too. It just, with a command sergeant major in a battalion, you're force of standards. You make sure the battalion's doing all that stuff. But again, like I'm working with a battalion commander it has the same amount of years as I do,
Yeah.
right? And my first sergeants are pretty seasoned, right? And some of those companies will just run. They'll just run with, a really good company commander and a really good first sergeant. Just go,
Oh yeah.
right? Like, I'm just getting down there, making sure, like, hey, I'm meeting your intent. Like, hey, sir, this is what, B company's doing, right? And coming back and let you know, like, there's things that you want me to hit and where I can be your eyes that you can't be. And that's what this sergeant major does, right? He goes down there and does that stuff. But, in terms of just trying to figure it out and being challenging and working with leaders, like when I was a platoon sergeant, man, that shit was tough. Like just working with, some leaders I didn't like them and they didn't like me. And, some of the leadership I had when I was younger was very challenging. Besides Command Sergeant Major Love, because Command Sergeant Major Love was the fucking man, and he's the one that made me into the NCO that as a mentor that I am today. So I just, every time I, had something that I was challenging, I was like, hey, what's Sergeant Major Jack Love do? Like what would he do? So I kind of gauged that and also developed my own leadership style. But
So
yeah,
without naming names, right? Because that's not who we are. Um, what was your most difficult, like, with whether that be,
personality wise,
yeah, like whether that's a lieutenant or whether
there
that's an
was a
officer
there was
or
there was a first sergeant that I worked with when I was in Red Falcons.
yeah,
That just we didn't see eye to eye. Just I think he had a personal vendetta against me or something, man. It just, and I had the best platoon in the company. Like you
yeah,
can say whatever the fuck you want without that, and the guys would say that too. It was in Charlie Company, but we had the best command, best best platoon. When we came back we were detached from that organization to go do this task force Falcon, right? So we were working with special operations and stuff. So what do you think when we come back? And everybody's like, "Oh, you guys think you're special," blah blah blah. And there was a little leadership rift there between who we were and what our guys did, and everybody kind of looked down on it, even though we did fucking awesome over there, just because we worked under a different umbrella. There was some leadership that just like there was one guy, right? So I was doing. I've told this story before, but I was doing an airborne operation as a jump master, and and I'm not going to mention he was a battalion sergeant major, but it was a VIP jump, so I only had 5 jumpers on each door, so like one on the left, 5 on each side, and
yeah.
I was the PJ, and we were doing the jump, and opened the door, and it was like looking in heaven, bro. Like you could see solid white. It was nothing, right? And I had the corps sergeant major and the corps commander on my bird because it was the VIP jump, and we did the jump, or we didn't do the jump. I fucking canceled the first pass. I was like, I can't, because of the reference points and all that shit, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say. So I was like, hey, I looked at these guys. This is a VIP jump, dude. Like, I'm not going to hurt my
Yeah.
paratroopers. Like, as a leader, these are some decisions that you have to like make, right? You have to go against the grain sometimes, right?
And you got to
And
stand
I,
with
w-
them.
and I went against the grain on this one, man. This was the
Yeah.
82nd Airborne Division. And I'm like, I canceled the first pass. The Corps Sergeant Major looked at me and goes, hey, we don't need to do another one, Joe Master. You don't need, you're good. I was like, I'll do one more pass, Sergeant Major. We did a pass. We did, it didn't work out. So I just fucking nixed the jump, man. And like getting off the bird, you know, the Corps Sergeant Major gave me a coin. He's like, great call, Jump Master. We need, whatever leaders need to make decisions like that. Like it was a fate. I was just I think it was like I was a Sergeant First Class, I think probably. Yeah, Sergeant First Class.
Yeah.
And the pressure to throw these young paratroopers out the door just because of who was on the bird and what the bird was like I got back to it. I was like, man, I hope I don't get fucking. And what happened was I get a call. I wasn't even getting undoing my gear, and I get a call, and they're, hey, you need to come back and see the CSM. So I went back to the fucking sergeant major, and he was like, he pulled me and the AJ together, and he's like, you guys fucking suck, like you fucking, if the fucking Air Force says jump, you jump. he's fucking whatever, I don't know, AWODs or whatever you want to say. And he's like,
Yeah.
if the Air Force says jump, you fucking jump. And I'm going to fucking decertify you. And I got one of the worst ass chewings I think I ever got in a while, right? And I was like, fucking, I left that office, man, and I was down. And I was like, the fuck is wrong with this dude? What the fuck? And then Sergeant Major Jack Love was the ops sergeant major, and he pulled me aside and said, hey, Joe Master, pulled me aside in the hallway and said, he did the right thing.
Yeah.
You got to make the decision. You make a fucking decision and you fucking go with it, right? Like
Yeah,
you don't
you own it.
hesitate.
Yeah.
And good or bad, whatever, I made a decision that day that, you know, you know, not everybody liked. Leadership didn't like it, but
Yeah.
I couldn't get like the faces out of those dudes that are hanging with their static lights looking at me and saying, oh shit, because they could see it. Like fucking clouds were coming in the bird and shit. And it just wasn't worth it to me to put guys out and get guys hurt for no fucking reason,
Yeah.
So I made that decision, and that's our major I kind of dealt with that. And I dealt with the first sergeant that I had issues with. He kind of came in and kind of helped me out with that. I was pretty surprised because we didn't really get
Nice.
along, but it was just those relationships of
Yeah.
working with people that you don't necessarily like, but
Yeah.
you got to work. You got to find a way to work with them. You know what I'm saying? You have to, because the organization, there's 30 other dudes under that I have to take care of. Like that's my family as a platoon sergeant. I have to
Yeah.
take care of them, but I can't let fucking stupid relationships with dudes that don't like me and I don't like them get in the way of that. Right. Because, our job is lethality, and we do things that are hard, and we train to kill other human beings. That's what we do. And
Yep.
for me to like let personal shit kind of get in front of that, I think
Yeah.
I just couldn't do that. And for my whole time as a platoon sergeant, for that time I had to fight through that. Man, it was tough. It was really tough. And they got a lot of guys in the company saw that. And like, holy shit, this dude does not like you, man. I was like, I don't have to tell him, dude. I'm winning everything. So I don't fucking say, but yeah, that's one of my struggles. I know that was a long-winded answer, but
No,
yeah,
that's
that's
good.
it.
All right.
But yeah, you gotta make a decision. Make a decision.
You got to make a
Good, bad, or
decision, and then
whatever.
you got to
Fucking
own
make a
it.
decision.
Yeah.
You gotta own it, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
That's
But
what made you a great battalion CSM. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, yeah. I didn't get anywhere without help.
Uh,
It wasn't
none
of
of us
who
did.
I was,
No,
bro.
I'm not
I've
saying you
had
did.
some good people work with
Yeah.
me that wanted to get on board with me and help me out and do things. And I made sure respect's a two-way street, bro. This is what it is, man.
Yep.
And the thing about E9s these days, and I can say this because I'm retired now, but I think we're kind of losing touch on some things. About it's not about popularity and putting this reef on your chest and you're some kind of fucking king of the castle, dude. That's just not how it works, man. Like you got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to make decisions, have your leaders make decisions. Like
Yeah.
I could wear this fucking rank around. And okay, that's why we never, like, I never hit, I was so worried about being a distraction and going out and, and these things, especially for both of us. Cause
Yeah.
if we go to a range, dude, they're like, they'll start making stupid shit like, well, VOs are fucking this or that. So our majors come in, the battalion commander will get us stopped. Like, dude, we're not,
No.
don't interfere with that shit,
No.
man. Let the boys train,
Don't
so
stop what you're doing just
you
because
don't
we're
need the
telling you.
red, because there's
No.
sergeant majors that want the red carpet they
I
want
know.
the red carpet
I know.
thing, man. It is
They
just
used to,
it's just
they
dumb.
used to piss me off, and thank God they stopped doing it after probably the first 2 or 3 months. But yeah, I mean, every time we go out there, it's like, oh, we gotta put on a show. No, man, no, I don't want you to put on a show, and I'm not here to necessarily judge you. I just want to come see you conduct training and make
Hmm.
sure you're doing it right. You're making it tough. You're making it realistic, and that people are getting something out of it.
Yeah,
Because if they're not, then we're not doing our jobs.
yeah. That's how Jack was, man. I keep saying his name, guys, but if you like, go to episode 1 and
Yep.
and watch episode 1 in Arcane, you'll know what I'm talking about. But like, we'd be on patrol in Iraq. I'm like, sorry, mate, first sergeant's with us. Fuck yeah, he's in the back. I'm like, I didn't even know he was with us. Like, he's in there. He's out there taking a knee with the guys. I'm like, the hell? That's just who he was, dude. I didn't like, we're
Yeah.
running the patrol. I mean, he didn't jump in and try to overcompensate or say something and let everybody know, hey, Sergeant Major's here. Like, I'm here, guys. Do you give me some recommendation? Like, that wasn't him, man. It's like, I'll be looking in the rear and he's like pulling security down the alley. I'm like, dude, what the, that's first sergeant
Oh
major,
yeah.
right? So that's just who he was, man. So,
Yeah.
and that's what kind of drove me to my leadership style. I just, you gotta find a good mentor that's going to help you out and lead by example, and someone you can call and always ask, like when you're in bad spots. There's been times I called him and I'd be like, hey man, like I don't know where to go with this. So I don't know everything. You don't. And lucky me and Chris, when we did our leadership time, we would sit in the office late at night and say, hey, what the fuck? Or how, what do you think? Or what do I think? So,
Like, where do we need to go from here? What are
yeah,
we doing right? And that was one of the things that I think Jerry and I did really well. And I promise this is for the people that are on here, and we're up to
we've been going for
66.
2 hours,
We
dude.
could, we have been, and again, we are literally just bullshitting right now because I want y'all to send us some questions. Like, are we doing a good job? What do we need to do? Do we need to shut up and let you get back to cutting your grass like I do? But no, seriously, one of the things that I really, really, really appreciated about Jerry in our time together was the fact that we would sit down, and it wasn't always just me and Jerry. It would be me, Jerry. We'd have Chico in there, our ops sergeant major. We'd have Cooch, our three in there. We'd have Larpenter, our XO in there. Um, we'd probably have San in there, one of our first sergeants, right? He was our ACO first sergeant for a little while, and then he was our HHC first sergeant. So we'd have some first sergeants come in there, and we'd literally just have an open discussion about, okay, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What do we need to get better at? And it was by no means did we nail it, right? It wasn't 100%, but it was always an open and honest dialogue that we had anytime that we sat down with each other. And Jerry and I made sure that, every single time, hey, no, gloves off, Chatham House rules, tell us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. And it was just this constant dialoguing back and forth. And that's what you got to do, right? And that goes for any unit in the Army: Special Forces, Delta, SEALs, Ranger Regiment, Conventional Unit, Acquisition Corps, right? To Jerry's current job as a contractor. What are you doing right now? What do we need to get better at? How do we sell our products better? So it transitions over into civilian life. If you're not trying to get better, then what are you doing? And why are you doing
Mhm.
it? Right?
Yeah,
And so I really, really, Jerry, me to you now, I really appreciated the fact that whenever I asked you of your opinion, you didn't just parrot back what you thought I wanted to hear, right? You told me your honest opinion. And that's, quite frankly, why we were the best battalion in the division.
that's what sergeant majors to do, man. Shouldn't be, it's not sergeant majors, but all COs, man, all the way down to
Yep.
team leader. Like, even the team leaders need to be like, hey, man, this is stupid. Like, tactfully, of course, but this is stupid. I don't know why I get whatever, but like that, unfortunately, there's guys that are, or there's guys that I agree with everything the battalion commander says, or I agree with everything the platoon leader says.
Sure.
It's just like, dude, like,
And then we'll remain stagnant, right?
yeah,
And you'll
just
never get
you're gonna
better.
get somebody fucking killed. That's what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. It's like if you're not an organization that's constantly learning, and constantly learning and then communicating with each other down to your lower level leadership too. It's like can't do it. I mean, even your team leaders do. Like I always say that, like they're the ones that are going to be going in the room, right? They're the ones that are going to be going in there, fist fights, right? They're going to be going in there, close quarter combat with these dudes, or they're going to be on the objective making the calls. Like the PLs will be there too, or if you're a Ranger regiment, the platoon sergeant's there, the PLs back in the rear, whatever it is. But uh, yeah, you got to give everybody flexibility to make decisions, and everybody should have the ability to put in some kind of input. Yeah, you're gonna have guys who are like, dude, this dude always says some stupid shit, but you gotta listen to him, right? There's always that one dude, right? So it's taking the input in, man, and giving your organization the ability to learn and be flexible and to be able to adapt to things. And is one, if you're stovepiping people and people are scared to come up to you with a recommendation, you need us to go back and fucking do some self reflection. And if you're not approachable, like, and these guys can't come talk to you and sit in your office and have a conversation with you, and because some of the best stuff that I ever got was just those small conversations with the guys, man. Like if it's at night in a fucking hole in the defense talking to a young squad or a young saw gunner or rifleman, and because they're always so honest about it, man. And you can get some really good input from those guys, and kind of where the battalion's going because command staffs, you're going to get the glaze overs, or you're going to get like the stuff like that. Like even when General Menace was a 10th mountain commander, he would always say, "I'm just looking for someone to give me some solid input, man," because people
Don't
would
tell me what I want to hear. Tell me what I
don't
need to
tell me
hear.
what I want to hear. Like, tell me like what the fuck is happening so I can help you guys, right? So, yeah, I mean, I know we're getting in this leadership discussion, but yeah, that's it, man. And you know, don't be a fucking king. Think your shit don't stink, or you're in the king of the castle, man. Because you're not gonna go very far, So, but,
I agree.
all right, homie. I think we're hitting at 2 hours and
Yeah.
15 minutes, man. So,
Let's give these people back their day, shall we?
yeah, I can't believe 66 people are on here. This is the most we've ever had, man. That's a record.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I can't thank y'all enough for coming on here. Seriously, um, it means the world to me. It
Yeah,
really does.
yeah. It, it did, dude. There's 66 people out there watching this bullshit, man.
I know.
It's just stupid. It's crazy to
I know.
be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
It's okay. They're
I
gonna
don't know.
tear us up on the socials later.
Oh yeah, oh, there's clips coming out of this and shit, and it's gonna be all over whatever. You
Did
know
you
what?
hear what they said?
I know. Whatever. It's cool. I wouldn't put myself out here to people I don't know.
Yeah,
I probably know half the people on here anyways, but
probably.
um, yeah. All right, guys. We're probably gonna get this out because I didn't think I was gonna be. I thought we were probably gonna go for about an hour, and then this is what me and Chris do, man. We just start talking about random. This is what our podcasts are. Like if you kind of enjoyed this little rant session we've had for 2 hours and 15 minutes, man, this is kind of how our pods go. The guests, man, and it's just us bullshitting and us talk about stories and the way ahead and all that kind of stuff. So if that's your thing, please come over, man, and please help us out. Like we're trying to get to 400 on YouTube. We're at 363. We're trying to get up there to one to try to expand our audience, like Chris said later. And
Yeah.
we can't do any of this shit without you guys. So we appreciate it so much, and thank you guys for all the support and the love that you guys given me and Chris to
Yeah.
as we went through this journey of doing a podcast. As us being the small fish in the big shark tank of podcasts, and we're literal and we're tiny, but you know we're doing it for y'all, and we just want to have a good time. And we stay away from politics, we stay away from some of the other shit. We just want to have good fun discussions. So,
Yeah.
and also learning, so that when it comes to the battlefield discussions, we kind of get a little more deep in that. But thank you guys so much. I'm gonna turn it over to Chris to kind of close this out. But again, guys, if you see us on there, see us around, and please come over and check out the YouTube page, man. I think and dig into
Yeah.
some of the episodes. I think you'll like them.
Yeah. So we got some more reels coming out later. Uh, Trying to get some more views and some more publicity uh, for um, for Keith Benoit, right? And his episode
Mhm.
14, is a really good episode for anybody that's just coming on now. If you haven't seen episode 14, please get over there and check it out. Really good. And like Jerry mentioned, we're gonna do a battlefield discussion next weekend, and we'll get it out around the 17th or so, where we talk through some Task Force Falcon stuff. Um, deep Dive deep into some 80-second talk there. So I'm really looking forward to it. Um, but like you said, I can't thank y'all enough. If you like what you're seeing, please make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you're getting your buddies to like and subscribe as well. Because again, what this helps us do is it helps us get the word out there. And so in the future, maybe we're able to actually go somewhere and get some interviews and stuff like that, right? Potentially, we're able to go down to Fort Bragg and talk to some 82nd guys there. Potentially able to go down to Fort Benning and talk to some of the Ranger Regiment guys, stuff like that. Um,
Get out the All American Week.
Yes, and oh, by the way, one we keep forgetting to mention, Jerry, if you didn't know this, in September is the 31st Infantry Association reunion up at Fort Drum. So for all our polar bear brothers that are on here right now, if you're not tracking that, the 31st reunion this year is going to be up at Fort Drum, and they are still talking about potentially airing the first potentially in a series of documentaries on First and Last Out, talking about 431, going into Afghanistan and then closing down Afghanistan. Um, but again, helping us with that helps us to be able to continue to get the word out further and further and further. And just create a bigger audience and get more stories in here and have more fun bullshitting with everybody. That is what we love doing about this. Is it's a bullshit session, right? So thank you from Jerry and I. Thank you so much for letting us do this and helping us carry your stories. That's all I got, man.
You sure?
I'm
Keep
sure.
going.
I'm sure. Well, how about you give us a safety brief real quick?
I don't do safety briefs. I
Yeah,
just
you do,
chime
sir,
on. I
man.
just chime on what the battalion commander
Okay.
says.
All right.
I
Yeah,
just
you do.
chime on. I just chime on what you say. Duh.
You usually have to get the last word in. So, anything else?
No, do I really?
Oh yeah,
I think I do
you
sometimes.
do.
Because I think I said like, "Oh, close this shit out 4 times," and next thing you know, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it right now. This is some psyop shit you got going on right now. Like you're like mind fucking me here at this point. Like okay, whatever. All right, guys. Hey man, I'm gonna close this out. But again, thank you guys so much. And you know, we'll talk to you later and stand
Stay
by for
classy.
the
Yeah.
new episode. And for these lives, just real quick, that we didn't mention this, but we will do some lives in between some of the episodes, just like we did here. So if you watch, like you said, if you watch the episode, you just wait till the live come back. If you want to shoot us some messages when we do the lives on what we need to work off based off that last episode, that'd be awesome. So yeah. All right, guys. Peace out. We'll talk to y'all later. Thank you so much. Bye.